Chapter 2457 Sudden Transformation. Chapter 2457 Sudden Transformation. Bang, 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 bang. Explosions sounded one after another. Balls of blood mist shot into the air like fireworks. 80,000 alien demons. In an instant. All of them were instantly killed. In addition, there was not even a corpse left. All of them had turned into blood mist and powder. The entire Meng city was covered in a bloody mist. It was eerie and terrifying, like a bloody purgatory. Everyone present was stunned, all of them looked at the sky in shock, all of them trembling in their hearts. Meng Zhon, Meng Qian, all of the surrounding powerhouse, all of them were trembling at this moment. Their hearts seemed to have stopped beating as they were crushed to the point that they couldn't move at all. An unspeakable pain. Long Fei's pupils tightened. He did not move his body at all, not because he did not want to, but because he could not move even if he tried his best. Although this power wasn't released at all, at this moment. That kind of scene where he could instantly kill 80,000 alien demons in one glance, that kind of visual impact made him unable to breathe. Strong. It was not an ordinary type of power. Strong to the point of exploding on the surface. Demon Emperor. Too damn powerful. Even. Long Fei felt that the power that he was using was even stronger than the power that Sea King was using. Immovable. It was the same for Kai Lina in the Transformers. Completely crushed and firmly stepped on the ground, completely unable to move. This feeling was too unbearable. The blood mist floated down from the sky, all of their bodies were dyed with the blood of the alien demons, and only the Demon Emperor was left. There was not a single trace of blood in the sky above his head. Indifference. There was nothing in his eyes. The Demon Emperor faintly said, "Just based on these?" Her voice was calm, but to Long Fei, it was like a bolt of lightning had struck his body. Boom. Finally. After exhausting the power in his body, only then did Long Fei make a sound, and he said, "Why isn't it important? The important thing is, I will definitely get married in one fell swoop." Buzz. When his voice fell, Long Fei's sea of consciousness seemed like it was about to explode. Enormous waves were sent out in waves. Even. At this moment, Long Fei had the impulse to release the second-level Ghost King, because the pressure he was being pressed on was too unbearable. Moreover, this wasn't the pressure of the Demon Emperor, this was only an aura. As soon as Long Fei finished his sentence, the surrounding people were slightly shocked. He's really courting death. Isn't that too arrogant? You even dare to steal the bride in front of the Demon Emperor? This kid must be crazy. Didn't they say that humans are cowards? Why is this kid not afraid of death at all? Lord Demon Emperor is too strong. Even in the face of the Demon Emperor, Long Fei wanted to snatch the marriage away. What was this called? Arrogant and savage? This was courting death. Transformers and Kai Lina also stepped forward slightly and stood behind Long Fei. They were not surprised by what Long Fei had said. They were also well prepared. That included dying in battle with Long Fei. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Suddenly, the Demon Emperor laughed. The laughter was somewhat baffling. In that moment, the laughter disappeared, and the Demon Emperor stared at Long Fei, and said, "Seems like you're really not afraid of death for a woman." Long Fei said, "I'm afraid, I won't come to snatch it." "All right." As if he was very satisfied with Long Fei's answer, he turned around to Princess Sand Moon and said, "Eldest niece, this human brat should be sincere towards you. A man who can entrust his life to us." The plot suddenly changed. Everyone was shocked, and their minds were a little dazed. At the same time, what the hell? Long Fei was also surprised. The aura of the Demon Emperor surrounding him suddenly disappeared and he regained his freedom. Looking at the Demon Emperor's proud expression, he was a little stunned. "Eldest niece? What's the situation?" Transformers said in a low voice, "Princess Sand Moon is his niece, so isn't that calling him uncle?" Kai Lina immediately said, "He seems to have his eyes on you." What? Long Fei was still not used to it. He was here to steal the bride, why did he set his eyes on him? Moreover, the reason they stole the marriage was because Long Fei was very unhappy with Meng Qian. He couldn't bear to see a beautiful girl marry a gay man and destroy her entire life. But this time, the situation had changed too quickly, not to mention Long Fei. Even Meng Qian was completely dumbstruck. The elders and disciples of the Meng clan were even more dumbfounded. It was the same in the surrounding groups. Princess Sand Moon lowered her body slightly as her cheeks flushed red. "Thank you, uncle." The demon emperor waved his hand and said, "Thank me for what? This is what I should do, and ever since your father passed away, I didn't really care about your Sand Moon tribe." He had turned into an uncle who doted on his little niece. Princess Sand Moon shook his head and said, it's not hard at all." Her eyes could not help but look at Long Fei. The demon emperor said, "Do you like him?" Then, the demon emperor turned around to look at Long Fei, and said, "Hey, boy, my eldest niece has fallen for you, so if you dare to let her down after marrying her today and entering the bridal room, I will definitely twist your entire life into a fried dough twist so that you won't even be able to pee your pants in your lifetime. Do you believe me?" Long Fei was stunned again. The demon emperor shouted, "What are you talking about? Did you hear what I said? Today's wedding, entering the bridal chamber." Long Fei was instantly speechless. At this moment, Meng Qian's face was extremely ugly. Princess Sand Moon is his woman, and today was his wedding day. Why would he marry someone else? Just when he was angry, Meng Zhon quickly walked up and grabbed Meng Qian's hand. Meng Qian suddenly twitched, and immediately shouted out, "I do not accept this." "On what basis? She is my woman, and we have been engaged since we were young. Even if she dies, she is still my, Meng Qian's, woman." Meng Qian said heavily, as he looked at Long Fei and asked again, "Who does he think he is? A useless human. What right does he have to fight with me? On what basis?" Meng Zhon said in a low voice, "Qianna, stop it. Stop it." And then, Meng Zhon continued to speak to the Demon Emperor, "Lord Demon Emperor, please forgive me. He is still young and inexperienced. Please don't bother with him. Please don't bother with him. Any member of the Meng family could die, but Meng Qian can't, because he was the Meng family's strongest hope. As long as Meng Qian was still alive, the Meng family would not fall no matter how hard they suffered." The Demon Emperor looked at Meng Qian and asked, "Why so?" "Very simple. Just based on the fact that I'm the Demon Emperor, is that enough?" Meng Qian yelled, "Not enough." The Demon Emperor's eyes narrowed. At this moment, the air was icy cold. It covered the entirety of Meng City. Chapter 2458, Killing Someone, No Need to Be Responsible, Right? Chapter 2458, Killing Someone, No Need to Be Responsible, Right? Icy cold. The cold filled his entire mind. Meng Zhon's body trembled. He instantly knelt down on the ground and all of the elders of the Meng clan knelt down on the ground and kowtowed heavily. What sort of existence was the Demon Emperor? The Emperor of the Magic Tribe. In the Magic Tribe, he could do whatever he wanted as there was nothing that could restrain him, nor any rules or regulations that could restrain him. Unconvinced of him? That was equivalent to seeking his own death. However, at this moment, the Demon Emperor glanced at Long Fei from the corner of his eyes and smiled faintly, saying, "I don't need to explain to anyone what I do. Furthermore, I know what you did to my first niece. We'll talk about it later. You are more like a woman than anything else. Why do you want to marry a woman? He wants to refine the sacred fire. Your Meng clan has already received enough." However, the Demon Emperor chuckled and said, "I can give you a chance. A changeable temperament. You have no idea what he's going to do in the next second." Princess Sand Moon also had a tight look in his eyes. The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei and said, "Hey, human brat, there are people who refuse to accept this. It seems like if you want to marry my niece today, everyone will have to accept it. So, you have to accept the challenge today. As long as there are people who are unconvinced, you must challenge them and make them respect you so that you can marry my eldest niece." The Demon Emperor smiled and said excitedly, "That's right, let's do it." The Princess Sand Moon was startled and immediately said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, that's not good. He's just one person. There are so many people here and all of them are powerhouses. What if? The demon emperor said, if you want to marry a woman from my magic tribe, you must make everyone submit, otherwise, he wouldn't be worthy of marrying you. Meng Qian was also excited in an instant, his eyes turned sinister as he said, all right. Ha ha ha. Kid, you want to steal my woman? I want to see how many lives you have left. Ha ha ha. Long Fei. He didn't care at all. His cultivation, strength, and speed had completely surpassed Long Fei's. Winning against Long Fei was simply too easy. As long as he could win against Long Fei, the Princess Sand Moon would still be his, and at that time, he would let the Princess Sand Moon know what a miserable world was. Thinking of this, Meng Qian became extremely excited. Meng Zhon faintly said, Lord Demon Emperor, what if Qianna wins? The Demon Emperor shrugged. Then he's my eldest niece's husband. Meng Zhon's eyes flashed with a bright light. Princess Sand Moon's gaze tensed up again, as if he had suddenly fallen from heaven to hell. It was just that. At this time, the Demon Emperor sent her idea into her mind, eldest niece, if that brat can't even get through the Meng family trial, then he isn't worthy to marry you. This is a test for him, Princess Sand Moon said, but Meng Qian's realm was much higher than his, he was simply not his match, moreover. And those people of the Meng family, Uncle Demon Emperor, I don't want him to marry me. Let him go, I'll do anything if you let him go. No way. The Demon Emperor said, he killed so many people from the magic tribe. If he is let go just like that, then what about the dignity of the magic tribe? Your father used up all his blood and sweat forging the devil's sword for me, and I owe it to your father. This time, I'll do everything in my power to help you. However, that kid must pass the Meng clan trial, otherwise. He did not continue. What did the magic tribe believe in? Strength. Powerhouse. If Long Fei was unable to defeat Meng Qian, even if he tried to defend, it would be useless. This would implicate the Princess Sand Moon. If you want to marry the Princess Sand Moon, then you must defeat Meng Qian. The Demon Emperor said, since there are many people here who are unwilling to accept this, then I allow the three of you to go and fight as you please. Of course, I have my own conditions for you. The Demon Emperor swept his eyes over her and said, you've all seen someone who wants to be better than my eldest niece, right? The number one beauty in the magic tribe, if anyone can win in the competition, then my niece will become someone's wife. Huh? Really? Wow. Seems like I won't even need to cut my lifespan by 10 years to have such a beauty. Count me in. I refuse to accept this. Why would the women of our magic tribe waste away on a human? Count me in. Me too. Princess Sand Moon's appearance could be said to be exceptional. Who wouldn't want to have such a beauty? Not to mention, the relationship between the Demon Emperor and the Princess Sand Moon was very exciting. As long as they could marry the Princess Sand Moon, it would be equivalent to being relatives with the Demon King. This was an opportunity to soar into the sky. No one wanted to miss it. Suddenly, a lot of people walked up to them. The Demon Emperor said with a playful smile, boy, a lot of people want to marry my niece. Is that a great pressure on you? Ha ha ha. Like an old urchin. You have no idea what he wants to do. Princess Sand Moon also had a headache, she regretted it now. He really didn't dare to use the keepsake left behind by his father to provoke the Demon Emperor. However, at that time, she really didn't know that Long Fei had come back to snatch the bride. The moment she saw Long Fei, her heart was truly moved. But now, she only wanted Long Fei to leave and she was willing to marry Meng Qian. The elders of the Meng family numbered in the tens, and all of them were in the spirit refinement realm. Meng Zhon, the patriarch of the Meng family, was in the second level of the arrogant form, and he had a heaven stage flood dragon as well. Adding the powerhouse S of the other magic tribes, there were hundreds of them in an instant. Every single one of them was an expert. If he wanted to defeat all of them, just by relying on Long Fei and the other two, it was too difficult. The Demon Emperor laughed. Boy, how is it? Accept the challenge? You may not accept it, but our magic tribe hates cowardly people the most. If you don't accept the fact that you can't marry my big niece, you will have to leave your life behind here. He wanted to force Long Fei. To force Long Fei to have no other choice. He wanted to know just how much potential Long Fei had. Transformers said solemnly, "This is bullying. Can you rely on your own strength to force me to such an extent? We only have 3 of them, how can we challenge them? It's obviously to send my boss to his death." The Demon Emperor smiled and said, "That's right. I was just forcing him to send himself to his death. How is it? Even if you don't accept it, you'll still die." Kai Lina looked at Long Fei. Right now, they were like wild beasts in a coliseum. Not fighting. Killed. To fight. He was still killed. They were all dead. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a smile. Everyone was shocked. He can still laugh. Still laughing at a time like this. Is your brain filled with water? What's he laughing at? Laugh that you're going to die soon? Long Fei walked forward with a smile on his face. "I accept, but..." As the sound of his voice faded, the entire Meng city burst into an uproar. Long Fei accepting this meant that they had the chance to marry into the Princess Sand Moon, and that they would have the chance to soar to the sky in one leap. Long Fei continued, "I have a question." The Demon Emperor said, "Speak." Long Fei said, "You do not have to be responsible for killing those people, right?" Chapter 2459, One Sword. Chapter 2459, One Sword. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The crowd burst into laughter. He was laughing from head to toe, and his laughter was like the blossoming of a flower. He was pointing at Long Fei and laughing. Long Fei was very calm, allowing the people around him to laugh, and said again, "You don't have to be responsible for killing people, right?" Ha ha ha. Kid, you? Who do you want to kill? I'm so scared. Wow. So savage, too terrifying. Ha ha ha. Kill us. First, you take a piss and look at yourself. Amongst the 3 of them, Magic Tribe had several hundreds more people. No matter what, it was impossible for the 3 of them to win against a few hundred people. Furthermore, each of their cultivation realms were not weaker than Long Fei's at all. In this kind of situation, Long Fei was dead for sure. The Demon Emperor said, "Don't worry, as long as you are strong enough, you will not need to be responsible for killing people in my Magic Tribe's territory." Long Fei laughed, "Then I am relieved. Bring it on. Don't waste everyone's time. Are you all going together? One by one. I've accepted all of them." Long Fei extended out his right hand and assumed a position, as if he was a grandmaster of a generation. At this moment, Transformers and Kai Lina also walked forward at the same time, and the 3 of them stood shoulder to shoulder. The Demon Emperor looked at the several hundred challengers. At this moment, an elder of the Meng clan growled, "I will go first." As he spoke, he strode forward and said, "I will fight for the Meng family." Buzz. The moment the true chi was released, a powerful aura instantly burst out, and in that instant, a beast of the earth class, a sword-teeth tiger, was summoned. The fangs were cold. The man leaped up and landed on the sword-teeth tiger's back. He pointed his long spear at Long Fei and said, "Brat, come and die." Third elder of the Meng clan, Meng Hu. First stage of the arrogant form, combined with that earth stage beast, this kid won't be able to hold on. Sigh, he beat me to it. If I had known earlier, I would have been the first to come out. That human kid is going to suffer. They had the feeling that Long Fei had entered a den of wolves. Everyone wanted to bite a piece of Long Fei's flesh. Kai Lina moved slightly, took a step forward, and said, "I'll do it." At the same time, Transformers took a step forward and said, "Let me do it." They were almost at the same time. However, the corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and said, "First battle, I'll go first." Transformers said, "Boss, he has a war beast." "I am your war beast." The Demon Emperor immediately said, "That's impossible. The 3 of you can only fight one at a time." Transformers roared, "Unfair, you want to force us to our deaths." The Demon Emperor loudly laughed and said, "Here, I am fair. Don't talk to me about fairness. Fairness is just an excuse for the weak, understand? If you want to be fair, then fight me one-on-one, I'll give you justice." Transformers was instantly impotent. Fighting the Demon Emperor? Even if he had 10,000 lives, it would still be insufficient for him to die. Long Fei said, "It's all right." Actually, he was simply too excited. He didn't know why the Demon Emperor would issue such a challenge. To him, this was simply something that he could only wish for. This is F*King. It was like giving away experience. He was also worried about how to kill others and gain more experience. He didn't think that the Demon Emperor would actually have such an amazing skill. Long Fei kept the ecstasy in his heart suppressed. Don't let yourself show it. He wanted to laugh several times. Really. This Demon Emperor was too great. Long Fei walked forward. The sword-teeth tiger looked down from above and stared at Long Fei with its two huge eyes. Meng, whose spear on his back, moved, pointing at Long Fei's head. He sneered and said, "Kid, you aren't qualified to fight with our young master for a woman." As soon as he finished, Meng, whose long spear, moved. At the same time, the gigantic sword-teeth tiger opened its blood basin and directly bit at Long Fei with its fangs. The moment he started, he released his strongest power. Qualification? I don't know why people keep carrying on about this. Today, I will show you what qualifications are. In an instant, Long Fei disappeared in place. In the air, with a move of his left arm, the Ju-Q sword was summoned. Boom. He released the heaven flame. Boom. The Ju-Q sword was burning. A sword hacked down from the sky. The man and the beast were divided into two. Fresh blood spurted out onto the ground. Meng, whose eyes were wide open, he did not even know how he died, and the sword-teeth tiger was even more terrified. One slash, instant kill. Shua. Long Fei landed on the ground, pointed the burning Ju-Q sword, and coldly said, "You want the qualifications to do so, right? This is the right. Is that enough?" "Not enough, please continue." The entire arena instantly fell silent. They all stared at Long Fei in shock. The power released from the sword was too ferocious. The Demon Emperor looked at the flame on Long Fei's left hand and his heart trembled. The fire is a fusion of offensive heavenly flames, and also a fusion of sky flames and weapons. Your attainment is not bad. Your sword art is also not bad. The sword is good too. He was very satisfied. He began to like this human a little. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng, who for obtaining 38,000 experience, 30,000 true chi points, and 5 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out a few times. Long Fei was slightly shocked in his heart. Wow, 3,800,000 experience points is a bit too much. When he killed Meng Ape, he only had several tens of thousands of experience. However, Meng Ape's cultivation level was lower than his. At the same cultivation level, his experience suddenly increased by 100 times. Awesome. Long Fei started to count in his heart, an elite monster with 38,100,000 points experience points, 10 of them is equivalent to 38 million, and 100 of them is equivalent to 380 million. If I can kill over 1,000, that would be more than 3 billion. Wouldn't that mean I have to level up a few levels? It looks like he is trying to break through the Mahayana realm. There's even hope for the Zhenwu realm. 1 billion experience points increased by 1 level. It was extremely difficult, but as long as there were monsters to kill, there was no need to be afraid. There were countless powerhouses in the magic tribe. If he killed them all, he would probably reach the Emperor Zhenwu's realm. Long Fei was elated. At this time, Long Fei walked back to Transformers' side, looked at the dazed crowd, and asked, "Who else?" Arrogant. At this time, dozens of people came out and said, "Is it awesome just because you won a match? Do you think our magic tribe has no one? Brat, Meng, who is nothing. Let me take care of you. The Princess Sand Moon is mine, no one can compete with me." Dozens appeared all of a sudden. The Demon Emperor immediately became happy and said, "Then why don't you all attack together?" Ha ha ha. Kai Lina could not bear to watch any longer, and said, "There must be a rule for the competition, it should be a one-on-one." "You." The Demon Emperor said with a smile, "Rules? I am the rule, and what I say is what I say. Are you upset? If you are not satisfied, then let that brat fight with me. I will make you feel very good." How is it? You're not talking? If you don't say anything, then go and fight. Chapter 2460 Skyfire God Heaven. Chapter 2460 Skyfire God Heaven. To negotiate fair with the Demon Emperor? Bullet rule? Fine. Then he'll show you what fairness is and what rules are. This was the territory of the Magic Tribe. He was the Demon Emperor of the Emperor Zhen Wu's realm. He was fairness, he was a rule. Kai Lina was enraged. If it was possible. She really wanted to go up and ruthlessly slap the Demon Emperor a few times, but she couldn't. Transformers said, with so many of them, it should be fine for the three of us to go up together, right? The Demon Emperor said, that won't do. Only one of you can go out and fight. If you three dare to fight together, then I will instantly reduce you 3 by 2. Princess Sandmoon was also extremely anxious. This was a test. This was basically letting Long Fei and the other two die. Many people in the crowd began to laugh. It was the same with the members of the Meng clan. On the other hand, Meng Qian looked cold with his arms folded across his chest. His eyes were filled with disdain, towards these dozens of people, and similarly, towards Long Fei. He was in no hurry. Because he knew that Long Fei's life would definitely be in his hands. Transformers was also furious. He directly said, if you are not the Demon Emperor and you are not in the true martial Great Emperor's realm, you will be beaten to death by me. The Demon Emperor wasn't angry. Instead, he said with a smiling face, what a pity. I am the Demon Emperor and I am at the boundary of the true martial Great Emperor. Even if you can't beat me, aren't you angry? Transformers was so angry that he almost vomited blood. However, Long Fei still maintained his calm demeanor, walked up and said, it's fine, I'll take it. Transformers said, boss, there are suddenly so many people. Let me do it, I have to endure. Long Fei said, no need, you can go up again after this battle. Who? Long Fei let out a light breath. He had to say it. He was excited, but at the same time, he was also pressured. With such a large number of cultivation realms similar to him in Powerhouse, attacking together would definitely be like a torrential rain as well. If he wasn't able to hold on, then he would definitely die. Long Fei slowly walked forward. The dozens of Powerhouses also walked forward. The Demon Emperor did not give Long Fei time to prepare, he immediately shouted, begin. As soon as he finished, the Powerhouse released their strongest skills. All of them were like a fierce wild beast rushing towards Long Fei, all sorts of strong powers bombarded down like a torrential storm. It was exactly as Long Fei had expected. If he couldn't block it, he would die. At a time like this, the only thing Long Fei could do was defend. But Long Fei did not have any defense, so his defense was useless. In his world, there was no defense. Facing the overwhelming power that came attacking him, Long Fei moved his true essence, retracted his Ju-Q sword and retracted the power of his Skyfire. At this moment, the ground beneath his feet suddenly cracked. Buzz. His hands turned into claws, veins bulged all over his body, and his forehead creased. Strips of power were released from his fingers, and then, Long Fei faced the sky and roared. God's Day Burial. Shuo Tian. Get lost. Boom. 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 Streaks of sand burst out from the building and flew out. On the city walls, the sand that made up the walls, the sand that was on the ground, and the sand that was in the ruins, seemed to be summoned by some sort of powerful force and constantly surged towards the sky. It was as if a black mass had appeared above Long Fei's head, as if a sky made up of sand had appeared. Everyone was shocked. But they did not avoid him. Instead, they looked at Long Fei and shouted, kill him first. Kill him. As long as he killed Long Fei, the cultivation technique he used would instantly crumble. Princess Sandmoon looked at the sky filled with sand and his heart trembled, the power of the sand demon. Did he absorb the sand demon's power? She didn't have time to think about it now. The god of burial that the sand demon released was in the middle of the desert. There was endless sand, but this was a city, and there wasn't that much sand. Moreover, the power that Long Fei had released was also not enough. It was impossible to kill these experts. He didn't have enough strength. And at this time, boom, boom, When countless of attacks descended, they were all the power of the arrogant form state. In an instant, Long Fei was drenched in blood and his body was covered in wounds. Heavily wounded. His health point was declining crazily. The spring of life was frantically replenishing it, but it was still a little too late, because Long Fei had endured too many attacks. He would not be able to take it any longer. Not enough. I still don't have enough strength. I can't take it anymore. My health point is dropping too quickly. I can only last 10 seconds at most. Long Fei's heart became anxious. This was the first time he used the power of the God Realm burying art. He didn't expect that. Because the sand was not strong enough. But he had already reached such a situation. I'm going all out, Long Fei said solemnly. Kong Kim, Kai Lina, step back. His left hand moved. Skyfire was instantly released. Bring it on. Skyfire God Sky. Buried, burnt to death. Fall for me. Rumble. Rumble. The heaven and earth rumbled as the thick sand in the sky suddenly began to burn. Moreover, at that instant, it was like the sky collapsing. It came crashing down. The power of the explosion in the sand. The burning power of the heavenly fire perfectly fused with everything at this moment. Under the sand in the sky, as long as dozens of powerhouse were touched by even a little bit of it, their bodies would instantly burn up and be dragged into the sand by the powerful force. Bam! 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 One after another, their bodies burned crazily, exploding crazily. Finally, it became a part of the sand. At this moment, ding! 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 The system beep flew wildly and could not stop at all. Help! Help! Lord Demon Emperor, save me, help me. I'm not playing anymore. I'm quitting. I'm quitting. Don't kill me. Huff, huff. There was blood on the corner of Long Fei's eyebrows. Holding onto the Ju-Q sword in his left hand, he walked over to her like a god of death in a blood prison, and said, Damn it, are you calling for help now? Why didn't you scream when you attacked Lousy? Shua. Shua. One sword, one slaughter at a time. At first they were like wild beasts. Now, Long Fei was a butcher. Everyone was stunned, looking at Long Fei one by one. Fear rose up in their hearts. This human. It was a bit cruel. The Demon Emperor was also ecstatic. Ha ha ha. Interesting, very interesting. It's been a long time since I've seen such an interesting person. It's not a simple answer. I can't believe a human with such a monster. No way. I have to think of a way for him to become a member of the magic tribe. The Demon Emperor was a little excited. He was surprised at the power Long Fei had displayed. So, he made a decision. Who else? Do you still have the qualifications? Long Fei heavily roared. At this moment, a wave of cold and chilling aura instantly attacked him, and in almost an instant, Long Fei felt as if his body was frozen. It was also at this time. Meng Qian appeared in front of Long Fei, looking at the surrounding corpses with disdain, a bunch of trash. Meng Qian pointed at Long Fei's nose and coldly said, You die for me. The 5th chapter. Thank you all for your support. Chapter 2461 Long Fei Frozen. Chapter 2461 Long Fei Frozen. With that said, he did not wait for Long Fei's response. The aura released from Meng Qian's body instantly became incomparably cold. The originally hot temperature quickly turned into a freezing temperature. Ice and amp, cold field. Open for me. The true essence in Meng Qian's body frantically worked. Within 10 meters, the temperature dropped, and frost condensed on the ground. This coldness. Too deadly. Furthermore, Long Fei was heavily injured just now. His whole body was covered in blood. In a moment like this, the blood stains on his body immediately froze. The wound froze and contracted, bringing about a tearing pain that caused Long Fei's body to uncontrollably tremble. Ice and amp, cold field. They froze the human kid as soon as they got there. Wow. Meng Qian is still the strongest. 18 captains of Magic King does not live up to his name. Seems like today's wedding will continue. I heard that he was born with a cold aura and had an ice-cold cultivation technique. This ice and amp, Coldfield is like a small world and is completely in his control. This time, that human can't be arrogant anymore. The ice and amp, Coldfield was Meng Qian's unique cultivation technique. Moreover, it was a natural cultivation technique. Once he controlled her, she would not be able to escape. Just now, he was careless and did not know that Kai Lina could use spatial techniques to save Kong Kim. This time, he would never make the same mistake again. Moreover, it was also impossible for Kai Lina to appear. Hiss, 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 hiss. Long Fei's teeth were trembling as he suddenly took in a breath of cold air. His hair was already covered in a thin layer of frost, and it was as if snow had covered his entire body. Even the blood vessels in his body seemed to be frozen. It was very hard. Boss. Transformers slightly moved. The Demon Emperor immediately shouted out, "Don't go up. Otherwise, this match will be treated as your loss." He stopped King Kong in an instant. However, King Kong did not pay any attention to him. What did the Demon Emperor count for? He was not the magic tribe, so he did not need to listen to the Demon Emperor's orders. Even if it was a competition at this point of time, seeing that Long Fei was in danger, the Transformers did not care. His fists sank, Vajra tyrant body. A vigorous energy violently burst out as he took a step forward and heavily rushed forward. At the same time, Kai Lina flapped his wings and took a step forward. The Princess Sand Moon said anxiously, "Uncle Demon Emperor, save Long Fei? Please, save him." If he did not save her, Long Fei would probably die. After all, Meng Qian's cultivation was much higher than Long Fei's. One was at the first stage of arrogant form and the other was at the peak. She had stayed in the ice and amp, Coldfield before, so she knew that the feeling of her entire body being frozen was too unbearable. Once the blood vessels were frozen, the whole body's functions would suddenly stop and the heart would explode. The Demon Emperor was not moved. Seeing that, the Princess Sand Moon immediately kneeled to the ground, and said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, I beg of you, please save him. I am willing to marry Meng Qian, I am willing to do anything, I beg of you to save him." Woo woo. Princess Sand Moon could not help but burst into tears. Originally, Long Fei should not have been implicated because of her. Moreover, no man had ever been willing to give such a price for her. Long Fei was the only one, and also the only human. Princess Sand Moon was extremely moved, and it was also because of this that she wanted to protect Long Fei. She would use the rest of her happiness to exchange for Long Fei's life. She was willing to exchange her life for Long Fei's. However, the Princess Sand Moon was kneeling on the ground, but the Demon Emperor just frowned and did not stop him. With his power, a mere aura of a mere ice and amp, Coldfield could crush him. However, he did not do so. He was waiting. He was waiting for Long Fei to erupt. The feeling Long Fei gave him was definitely that he had some tricks up his sleeves, and he was even very strong. The Demon Emperor thought to himself, "Boy, you're about to die. Why aren't you exploding?" He was worried too. In fact, he was even more worried than the Princess Sand Moon, because he was pleasantly surprised by the strength Long Fei had displayed. Such a super genius should be someone from his magic tribe. The Demon Emperor did not attack. He was still waiting. If Long Fei didn't have any tricks up his sleeve, then he wasn't worth saving. In other words, he had made a mistake. However, after all, Long Fei and Meng Qian's cultivation were not in the same realm. The difference in realm is a little big, if it's in the same realm. Should we save him? It was also at this time. When Meng Qian saw the Princess Sand Moon kneeling down and pleading for help for the Demon Emperor, the rage in his heart grew even stronger. He roared, "Bitch, open your eyes wide and look carefully. Watch how I kill him. Ha 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 ha." Fierce, crazed laughter rang out. Transformers rushed forward and shouted, "Let go of my boss." Boom. King Kong powerful fists. His fists moved, heavily punching forward. But, not waiting for his fist to land, Meng Zhon's eyes turned sinister. Roar. The ferocious flood dragon soared into the air. With a sweep of its body, it directly caught Transformers and sent him flying thousands of meters away with a whip. Rumble. A deep crater was created. The flood dragon let out a roar, and pounced down from the sky towards the transformers in the deep pit. At the same time, Kai Lina's body was suddenly blocked by a powerful force. The three elders of the Meng clan descended, and together, they released a powerful bell made of qi, sealing her inside. It was locked. Weng Long. The bell rumbled. The vigorous true essence continued to revolve unceasingly. The three great elders bellowed, and the qi bell immediately exploded. Zong. Rumble. The bell was like a huge bell, directly enveloping Kai Lina and locking him in place, and the gigantic sound wave from the bell continued to attack Kai Lina. Ah! Kai Lina screamed in pain. However, she did not try to defend herself. Instead, she flapped her wings and said, "Secret technique, spatial movement. Open." Buzz. The sound from the bell exploded. Just as her twisted body was about to move, the power within the bell exploded. Kai Lina returned to his original form once again. Ah! Try again. But the result was the same. He was still suppressed by the qi bell and couldn't move at all. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Looking at Long Fei, who was inside the ice and amp, Coldfield, Kai Lina was incomparably anxious. At this moment, everything was suppressed by the Meng clan. Humans are just humans after all, they're still too weak for us magic tribe. Yeah, it's too weak. They came just like that to steal the bride. You dare to be so arrogant in front of us magic tribe? Why don't you take a piss instead? All of you are going to die. They were all being suppressed. They were all going to die. The demon emperor sighed in his heart. Ah! It seems like I still have to take action. However, also at this moment, a sinister light flashed in Long Fei's eyes. Chapter 2462 Fusion of Second-Level Ghost King. Chapter 2462 Fusion of Second-Level Ghost King. Long Fei's entire body was about to be frozen. Just a head away. The blood in his veins had stopped flowing, and his heart might burst in a few seconds. He was definitely going to die. Everything in his body was monitored by the Demon Emperor. It was also because of this that the Demon Emperor sighed in his heart. He thought that Long Fei would have some tricks up his sleeve, making him feel pleasantly surprised. Even now, he still didn't find this disappointing. However, after all, Long Fei had saved Princess Sandmoon before. No matter what, he had to keep his life. But, just as he was about to attack, he suddenly realized that Long Fei's eyes were glowing with a cold light, causing the Demon Emperor's heart to sink. Eh? Is it going to explode? At this moment, he stopped again. He knew. If he stopped himself, if Long Fei did not have a backup, then even if Ice and Amp, Coldfield was destroyed, Long Fei might not be able to survive. No, no. No, Princess Sandmoon kneeled on the ground and cried. Ha ha ha. Trash, go to hell. You want to steal my woman? You think you're worthy? Ha ha ha. Who do you think you are? Meng Qian laughed proudly, his face extremely sinister, as though he was a perverted murderer. The people of the Meng clan were also in high spirits. You don't even know who you are. How dare you act so wildly in our Meng clan's territory? Exactly. You dare to fight with our young master over a woman? What the heck are you? How arrogant. How can our Meng family's territory be a place where trash like you act so arrogantly? Ha ha ha. The members of the Meng clan were laughing maniacally. Even if a lot of people from the Meng clan had died, but suppressing Long Fei and the others would make the Meng family much more powerful. In the future, their status in the magic tribe would be much higher. He's a first-stage arrogant form after all. The difference is simply too great. He was too arrogant. He deserved to die. You stole our magic tribe's kiss, right? Ha ha ha. Quite a few people in the crowd also burst out in laughter. Meng Qian glanced at Princess Sandmoon, who was kneeling on the ground and crying, and his heart became more and more pleased. He walked to the front of Long Fei, whose entire body was covered in ice, and laughed sinisterly. Don't worry, I won't touch her for a bit, but I will let all the men in Meng City trample on her. I will make her the worst bitch in the world. You hey. Ha ha ha. Mad laughter. At the same time, Meng Qian flipped his left hand, Wang. As the water condensed, an incomparably sharp ice shard condensed in his hand. He pierced towards Long Fei's head, and said with a heavy voice, Die. Long Fei's eyes were imprinted with an icy sword beam. Closer and closer. As long as he slightly punched, Long Fei's body would probably shatter. At this moment, he had to die. The demon emperor's eyes sank. It was already too late. Even if he had the power to instantly grind everything up, Long Fei would have died. There was no time. He was a little regretful about why he had stopped just now. If Long Fei had acted at that time, he might have been able to live on. Huff. The demon emperor sighed in his heart. What a pity. Everyone from the Meng clan was laughing. Many people in the crowd were laughing loudly, mocking Long Fei that he overestimated his own strength. They mocked his arrogance. Kai Lina roared, and crazily struck the chi bell. The transformers crazily rushed out, but every time, he would be swept away by the flood dragon. Boss. No. No. A hysterical roar. However, nothing could stop Meng Qian, because he was too close. At that moment, the Grim Reaper arrived. The sharp sword tip was about to strike Long Fei, who had a complacent smile on his face. He had won. However, at this critical moment, in the blink of an eye, Long Fei suddenly raised his eyes, the corners of his mouth hooked up, and a piece of the frost on his face suddenly fell, revealing a death god's smile. He said, Are you done playing? It's my turn. Panic. Meng Qian's pupils suddenly contracted as his mind suddenly tensed up. However, at this time, he did not care as much as before, and ruthlessly thrust his sword downwards. Long Fei did not move. It was as if he had been frozen. However, the moment the ice sword in Meng Qian's hand pierced down, it quickly melted, and simply couldn't touch Long Fei's body at all. It melted the slightest bit of distance, and evaporated in that instant. A long ice sword. Only the sword hilt was left in Meng Qian's hands. A sudden change. Everyone's eyes suddenly widened, and they were all stupefied. The muscles at the corner of Meng Qian's eyes twitched crazily, and he flipped with his left hand. The ice sword condensed once again. However, this time, Long Fei did not give him another chance. His heart stirred and he said solemnly, Come, second-level Ghost King. Fuse with me. Buzz. Rank 2 Rotten Ghost Hand. Can summon second-level Ghost King. The power of the second-level Ghost King was much greater than the strength of a level 1 Ghost Emperor. There was also something special about the second-level Ghost King, which was that it could choose to fuse with his own body without summoning it. Just now. The reason why Long Fei was frozen was because he was waiting. His body was severely injured, and he was waiting for the spring of life to quickly fill up his own health point. The fusion of second-level Ghost King S could only be completed when one's health point was at full capacity. Although Long Fei was frozen by the ice and amp, Coldfield, his health point did not leak out, so he gave the spring of life enough time. 1 second ago, his health point was fully filled. In the next second, Long Fei's eyes moved. The power of the second-level Ghost King was instantly released. At this moment, Long Fei's body continued to crack. Catcher, catcher, catcher. The ice on his body quickly cracked, causing the ice and amp, cold field to be completely useless. It could freeze Long Fei. But it could not freeze the incomparably powerful Ghost Emperor. As the ice split open, the power of the second-level Ghost King gushed out crazily and fused into Long Fei's body. At this moment, the chi around Long Fei's body suddenly changed. It seemed to be an aura from hell. In an instant, boom! A blast of air shot out, covering the entire Meng city. The Demon Emperor's eyes turned sinister. His mind began to stir and he couldn't help but say, "What a powerful aura. This boy. He here. Ice exploded from his entire body as it fell. Aside from the change in aura Long Fei released, his body also underwent a change. Runes could be seen on the surface of his skin at a visible speed. On his hands and feet. On the face. Black runes even appeared in his eyes. It changed into another person. It was abnormally malevolent. The expression in the Demon Emperor's eyes tightened. Seeing the seal on Long Fei's body, his heart was as though it had been swept by lightning. He was incomparably shocked. It was also at this time. Ding. System prompt, second-level Ghost King fusion completed. Chapter 2463 Seconds. Chapter 2463 Seconds. The system beep descended. Long Fei clenched his fists slightly. In an instant, his body hung in the air. He simply didn't release any power. His body floated naturally. This feeling. Awesome. Long Fei raised his head to look at the sky, as if he was stepping on the entire world. Endless power, immense power. Power beyond life and death was in his hands. This feeling was too refreshing. Everyone was dumbfounded. This. Chi. What the hell is going on? Why is he able to break through ice and amp, coldfield, and why hasn't ice and amp, coldfield disappeared yet? His cultivation is only at the first stage of the arrogant form. No matter how strong he is, it's impossible for him to break through the control of Meng Qian, who is at the peak of the 9th stage of the arrogant form. What happened? My eyes must be blurry. Is Meng Qian's ice and amp, coldfield broken? Meng Qian, what are you doing? Kill him. The ice and amp, coldfield was completely useless. Meng Qian was already completely unable to control Long Fei, and not only that. Long Fei was even above the ice and amp, coldfield, and at this moment, Long Fei was like a king that descended. The eyes that looked down at the world coldly stared at Meng Qian. The runes in his eyes. A powerful aura emanated from his body. And in that gaze, Meng Qian's mind could no longer hold on. He was trembling, and couldn't stop shaking, and his face was even paler. He couldn't even hold on to his sword. His knees bent continuously, about to kneel down towards Long Fei. This sort of domination was simply too powerful. Meng Qian roared. He roared ferociously, using this roar to drive away the fear in his heart. He jumped with all his might. The condensed ice sword pierced towards Long Fei. He roared out, "Die!" The ice sword struck out. They approached Long Fei and turned into steam in an instant. At this moment, the difference in power levels was simply too great. Flipping over completely, Long Fei's eyes darkened, his ghostly hand moved. The moment the ice sword melted, it grabbed Meng Qian's neck and directly raised him up into the air, just like how Meng Qian had grabbed Princess Sand Moon's neck just now. Cough cough. Woo woo. Asterisk cough cough. Meng Qian struggled, something was stuck in his throat, causing his face to turn even paler. Long Fei stared at him coldly and said, "Are you that awesome?" Meng Qian could not say a word, and could only struggle. However, no matter how he struggled, he couldn't break free. The aura from Long Fei's body completely crushed him. Absolute crushing. "Show me one more powerful person." Long Fei was once again ice cold. "Aren't you being awesome? Then Laozi is going to be awesome." Long Fei laughed sinisterly, as if he was filled with the roar of 10,000 ghosts in hell, and lightly moved his 2 fingers. Crack. Meng Qian's neck broke, his head tilted to the side, his eyes bulging out, looking extremely sinister. At this moment, the gash on the top of his head was instantly seen through. Dead. He didn't even have the time to scream. 2 fingers moving, instant kill, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Qian for gaining 10 million experience, 100,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value point. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Ice and Amp, Coldfield. Do you wish to cultivate it? 2 system notifications sounded out. Was secretly happy when he heard the name Ice and Amp, Coldfield, but the idea moved, cultivate. Technique, Ice and Amp, Coldfield grade, divine level attribute, ice type description. The Ice and Amp, Coldfield is divided into 3 major domains. The first level Ice and Amp, Coldfield, the second level Frozen Hell domain, and the third level, Absolute Zero. Seeing this, Long Fei was completely dumbfounded. Absolutely. Absolute Zero? What the F***CK, Absolute Zero? Long Fei became excited. If I remember correctly, this should be the lowest temperature found on Earth. This. If I train to the 3rd level, if the area is expanded, I can destroy a plane with just 1 use. This is definitely an ultimate move that can destroy the heavens and the earth. Ha ha ha. Ice and Amp, Coldfield is only the 1st level. Such a cultivation technique is a waste on Meng Qian. It's fortunate that he managed to use it. Ha ha ha. The system sure feels great. Long Fei was extremely excited. Absolute Zero's damage was simply too monstrous. Excited. Because of his excitement, the power in Long Fei's hands was slightly released. Crack. Meng Qian's head instantly split open and fell from the sky, blood flowing all over the ground. It was at this moment that the members of the Meng clan reacted. Qianna. Meng Qian. Young master. Many members of the Meng clan rushed forward, their eyes wide, unable to accept this reality. The surrounding people were also dumbfounded. Instant kill? Oh my god. What kind of power could instantly kill Meng Qian, who was at the peak of the 9th stage of the arrogant form? This brat couldn't be that old monster from the Zhao family who is the #1 true martial emperor, Zhao Chongshan, right? It can't be him. This is too strong. It was indescribably strong. The peak of the 9th stage of the arrogant form was not an ordinary strength, but it was effortless. With just 2 of his fingers moving, he had directly strangled himself to death, something that not even the powerhouse of the Zhenwu realm could do. Moreover, it was one thing for the surrounding people to be shocked. Even the demon emperor was stunned. He stared at Long Fei in a daze, but his heart started to boil. Good boy, you truly have a big move. I already said it, how could I be mistaken? However, this big move is a little abnormal. The aura of the instant of power and energy is like a completely different person. Moreover, this aura does not even belong to the Zhenwu continent. Abnormal. I like ha ha ha. Then that would be even more so if he is a member of my magic tribe. The more he looked at it, the more he liked it. Even if Meng Qian was one of his 18 disciples, he would not even take a glance at her after death. Actually, even if Long Fei didn't kill Meng Qian, he would. Because he definitely would not let Princess Sand Moon marry such a perverted gay. Otherwise, he would have let down his brother. Ha ha ha. Boss is mighty, boss is domineering. In the deep pit, Transformers was crushed by the flood dragon to the point that he couldn't breathe. In that moment, Transformers suddenly stabbed both his hands into the flood dragon's flesh, causing scales to fly everywhere, fresh blood to burst out, and the flood dragon roared out, "Little snake, this old man will play with you for a while." Kai Lina also shattered the energy clock in the instant that the three elders were distracted. Looking at Long Fei, who was floating in the sky, he was also shocked in his heart, so strong again. Ah! Meng Zhon held Meng Qian's head and roared, "Return my son." Boom! His entire being rose up from the ground as he angrily rushed towards Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes turned cold, and smiled. The competition is not over. Now, all of you, attack together. It's my turn to go berserk. All of you will die, ha ha ha. Chapter 2464, Kid, join my magic tribe. Chapter 2464, Kid, join my magic tribe. Level 1 Ghost Emperor had a time limit. Similarly, the fused second-level Ghost King also had a time limit. What Long Fei needed to do now was to kill to his heart's content within the time limit. If power wasn't meant to kill, that would be meaningless. Meng Zhon rushed forward. An elder of the Meng clan rushed forward. Long Fei's eyes flashed coldly, his figure moved, both of his hands were like ghost claws as he attacked fiercely. Boom! 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 Everywhere he went, not a single blade of grass grew. Instant kill, and even instant kill. As long as they touched it, the immense power would topple it like a huge wave, reaping its life. Once its HP fell, it would do the same. The system BPS in Long Fei's mind exploded. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Meng Zhon for obtaining 50,000 experience points, 40,000 true chi points, and 4 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Elder Meng for obtaining 40,000 experience, 34,000 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Ding! Congratulations! The sound of explosions rang out non-stop. Long Fei also kept on killing. He maximized the power of the second-level Ghost King. Anyone who jumped out just now would die, just like the other disciples of the Meng clan. Do it, then you have to do everything. Now that the fighting had begun, it was time to wipe out the entire Meng clan. Because qualification? This was the qualification. In just 3 minutes, it was like a massacre. The elders, disciples, and those people of the Meng family who wanted to stomp Long Fei to death were all overturned by Long Fei alone. The hell runes on Long Fei's body slowly faded away. His strength was slowly decreasing. Long Fei was reluctant, but there was nothing he could do. He could not control the system. The restriction of the system is the restriction. He will not have any room for discussion with you. When the time is up, the power will immediately disappear. However, the possession of the second-level Ghost King allowed Long Fei to see some scenes that did not belong on the Zhenwu continent. When he saw the real Ghost Emperor, he actually looked at with respect. Very strange. Ghost Emperor? Long Fei didn't know what kind of existence he was, but he had heard from the Ocean King that the Ghost Emperor was at least the overlord of a region of the universal realm, and one that had a very high possibility of possessing the ancient inheritance. Why would such a powerhouse have respect for him? Furthermore, Sea King's corrupt ghost hand was only that much, but he could clearly feel that the Ghost Emperor's power was different from his own. He himself was clearly much stronger. However, due to his limitations in rank, he was unable to fully unleash the Ghost Emperor's power. All of these made Long Fei very confused. From the familiar feeling of summoning the Ghost Emperor for the first time to the fact that the Ghost Emperor's power had become stronger, all of these made Long Fei feel like he knew the Ghost Emperor. However, he hadn't even been to the universal realm. How could he know the Ghost Emperor? Could it be? It had to do with his own memories of the seal. But that's not right. All that I have in my memories are matters of the lower planes. There is no such thing as universal realms memories at all. Long Fei couldn't understand. Forget it. I will definitely go to Universal Realm. At that time, I will definitely find the Ghost Emperor and ask around. Long Fei thought in his heart as he checked the system, getting excited. I'm just a little bit away from leveling up. Today's experience was great, ha ha ha. Boom. In the distance. The Transformers immediately broke the Flood Dragon's mouth, causing its body to twitch a few times before falling to the ground stiffly. Transformers roared as he punched his chest. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Savage Flood Dragon for obtaining 69,000 experience, 67,000 true chi points, 5 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Flood Dragon blood essence. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Flood Dragon muscle bone. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the second stage of arrogant form, buzz. A golden light rose from within his body. At this moment, it was as if a spring breeze had washed over him. His entire body felt indescribably comfortable, and his strength had increased by quite a bit. The toughness of his body had also increased by a lot. Every time he leveled up, his strength and physical body would become stronger, and he would be able to sense the obvious changes in his speed. Awesome. Long Fei was secretly excited. I've finally broken through. On the other side, the expression in the Demon Emperor's eyes suddenly tightened as he looked at the aura on Long Fei's body. You have become stronger. He had broken through. Good boy, to think that you would be able to break through at such a time. As expected, he is extraordinary. Being stared at by the Demon Emperor, Long Fei felt goosebumps all over his body. Lin Ming's eyes turned and he also looked at the Demon Emperor. Actually, just now, when the second-level Ghost King was in possession of his body, the thought of killing the Demon Emperor flashed through his mind, but the aura of the Demon Emperor made this thought flash in his mind. He wasn't a match at all. Even with the fusion of second-level Ghost King and Wild God energy, he wasn't a match for them. The Demon Emperor was too strong. Long Fei had once again recognized the power of the true martial emperor's realm. Last time, Yi Yorong's master probably only used a tiny bit of his power. Heh. The Demon Emperor smiled. Her smile was sinister as she stared straight at Long Fei. Long Fei felt goosebumps all over his body, and his hands were drenched in cold sweat. After killing so many magic tribe people, the entire Meng family had been wiped out by him. How could the Demon Emperor not care? If he made a move, it could instantly kill him. At this moment, the Transformers rushed over anxiously and stood beside Long Fei. He stared at the Demon Emperor who had a sinister smile on his face and said, I don't care who you are, do you touch my boss for a try? Kai Lina then spread his wings and wrapped Long Fei up. This time, even if she had to risk her life, she would definitely protect Long Fei. The Princess Sand Moon also ran up and stood at the very front, saying, Uncle Demon Emperor, I beg of you, please let him go, I beg of you. The surrounding people reacted. Lord Demon Emperor, we cannot let him go. He killed so many people from the magic tribe. How can we let him off so easily? Kill him. Yes, kill him. A human being dares to be so impudent in the magic tribe's territory. We absolutely cannot let him off. Many people said loudly. Although Long Fei was very strong, he had completely wiped out the entire Meng family by himself. What the magic tribe believed in was power. But Long Fei was a human. They absolutely could not allow a human being to act so arrogantly in their territory. The Demon Emperor's eyes turned cold. Immediately. Those people immediately shut up, not daring to utter even half a word. The Demon Emperor stared at Long Fei, and smiled sinisterly again. Long Fei also walked forward, and said, Speak up, if there's anything, I'll accept it. If the Demon Emperor wanted to kill him, he would have done so a long time ago. There had to be something going on. The Demon Emperor smiled and said, Kid, how about you join my magic tribe? Meng Qian is dead. It just so happens that you have replaced him to become the 18 captains of Magic King. Chapter 2465 Forced Marriage. Chapter 2465 Forced Marriage. It was a bit sudden. Long Fei was not mentally prepared at all. He thought that the Demon Emperor was trying to come up with some sort of challenge trick, but he didn't expect. He actually wanted to give himself peace, and even gave himself the powerful identity of 18 Captains of Magic King all at once. 18 Captains of Magic King, a disciple of the Demon Emperor. Similarly, this was also a symbol of status, possessing supreme authority in the Magic tribe. Moreover, in the 18 Captains of Magic King, there would be one person to replace the Demon Emperor and become the next leader of the Magic tribe, the new Demon Emperor. Extremely special. This was the pursuit of the young talents and peerless geniuses in Magic tribe. Long Fei was very surprised. The surrounding people were the same, all dumbfounded. What? What did the Demon Emperor say just now? What? Have him join the Magic tribe? You must know that he is a human. How can he join the Magic tribe? Are you crazy? The Demon Emperor had always had no rules when doing things. It all depended on his personality. Whoever he looked down on would instantly suffer. But if they saw him correctly, then even a fool would be able to soar into the sky in a single step. Lord Demon Emperor, please reconsider. He is a human. How can he join the Magic tribe? Furthermore, he can't become the 18 Captains of Magic King. If by any chance he becomes the new Demon Emperor, then isn't our Magic tribe under the leadership of a human being? Think twice. Hualala. Many people kneeled down. However, the Demon Emperor didn't even look at them. He looked at Long Fei seriously, as if he was waiting for the answer. Transformers scratched his head. Even if he had two heads, he couldn't react in time as he muttered, "Boss, did he fancy you?" Kai Lina asked, "What do we do now?" Long Fei replied without thinking, "Not interested. Not even half a dime." He had come to the wilderness to cultivate and level up. He had come to the Magic tribe more so that he could see if he could break through to the realm of the Zhenwu Emperor. Become a Magic tribe. Wouldn't that mean we can't defeat the Magic tribe? How could he do that? Other than this, Long Fei was not in a good place to level up. The Demon Emperor was stunned and immediately said angrily, "You dare to reject me?" His voice changed. Immediately, boundless aura of the Demon Emperor was like a flood, enveloping and surging forward, binding Long Fei in an instant and preventing him from moving. He could crush anyone he disagreed with. Long Fei said with some difficulty, "I, Long Fei, do not have anything to be afraid of, and am not interested in joining the Magic tribe, nor in your identity as 18 Captains of Magic King." Ha ha ha. The moment Long Fei finished his sentence, the Demon Emperor started laughing loudly. Moreover, in that moment, his Demon Emperor's aura instantly disappeared, and his eyes looked at Long Fei excitedly, saying, "I like his personality." But the Demon Emperor rolled his eyes and thought to himself, "How could this emperor let you run away when he has his eyes on you?" And then the Demon Emperor looked at Princess Sand Moon and smiled, "Brat, you won the challenge just now, so you're the husband of Yu Min's niece. Get married immediately. Let me preside over it." Princess Sand Moon's face flushed red as he immediately said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, we." Long Fei was also stunned. "Marriage?" The Demon Emperor said with a righteous expression, "You mean, your father is not here, so I am your uncle. Therefore, I will be the one in charge of your marriage, although this boy is a human, but as you have seen, he did not hesitate to challenge the entire Meng family's powerhouse for your sake. He looks a little ugly, his character is not good, and his cultivation is average, but I think he's sincere to you. Do you like him?" The Princess Sand Moon said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, this, that." The Demon Emperor asked, "Are you just going to answer that you like it or not? Answer such a question in front of so many people? Any girl would be shy." However, the Demon Emperor didn't give the Princess Sand Moon any time to react and said, "You don't like it? If you don't like it." He killed so many people from the Magic tribe. As the Demon Emperor, I can't just sit by and watch. Boy, consider this your bad luck today. The Demon Emperor's eyes were filled with anger. He turned his hand and slashed at Long Fei. The Princess Sand Moon was so anxious that he could do nothing about it. I like him. The demon emperor chuckled and the power in his hands immediately disappeared. Boy, my niece has taken a fancy to you. If you don't agree, then do you believe me? Thinking about Long Fei's personality, the demon emperor changed his tone and said, who cares if you like it or not? Even if you don't like it, you still have to marry. Then he added, anyway, I like it. Long Fei was stunned. He was completely dumbstruck. It can actually be this way? Are you King fighting over a marriage as well? However, the wedding started with Long Fei stealing Meng Qian's wedding. Now, the demon emperor directly forced them to marry. I don't agree. Long Fei said loudly. The expression in Princess Sand Moon's eyes changed slightly as he became somewhat sorrowful. Long Fei immediately said, I'm not targeting you, I just think that's too fast. The demon emperor's eyes widened, and he shouted, my big niece, Magic Tribe's #1 beauty, the successor of the ancient refining families, do you not agree? What right do you have to disagree? Kid. Don't refuse a toast. Long Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and said, the matter of marriage is something that you willingly do. Do you think we'll ever be happy again? Even if I like her, isn't it too fast? Force. Force. The demon emperor muttered the word, and then revealed a sinister smile. With a move of his right hand, an enormous power immediately wrapped around Long Fei. The aura on his body also moved. Buzz. Long Fei's body was being controlled. The demon emperor laughed. Forced? This is forcing, thank you for reminding me. Now, immediately, get married. Hey, who is it? Call all those speakers and drums over here. The wedding will be continued, and, you people, I don't care which tribe you're from. If my eldest niece can't give you a proper wedding gift, I won't forgive you. The demon emperor immediately forcefully controlled Long Fei. Moreover, they even forced the onlookers to do so. They had already given him a gift. Now, he still had to give them one. They didn't dare to refuse because this was an order from the demon emperor. They had provoked who? Too tragic. What should we do? Transformers scratched his head. He did not know what to do now. Kai Lina laughed. It's just a wedding, a joyous occasion. We should be happy for him. Transformers was stunned, then immediately laughed out loud. Right, boss got married, and married the #1 beauty in Magic Tribe. He should be happy, ha ha ha. Long Fei wanted to die. He couldn't even speak now. His body was also out of control. The Princess Sand Moon walked to Long Fei's side and said, I'm sorry, Uncle Demon Emperor has such a strange personality. You're acting right in front of me. He forced a smile. But Long Fei could feel it. Thus, Long Fei said, how can I act? Since you're married, you're my bride. You still need to enter the bridal chamber tonight. Chapter 2466, The Demon Emperor's Gift. Chapter 2466, The Demon Emperor's Gift. First bow to heaven and earth. Second bow to the hall. Husband and wife bow to each other and send her to the bridal chamber. The Demon Emperor personally hosted it. In the Meng clan. Not only that, just as he said sent to the bridal room, he immediately said, everyone here has to give gifts. If anyone doesn't, don't blame this old man for being impolite. It was very cruel. The heck? Is that marriage? This was a robbery. Those people were complaining in their hearts, but they did not dare to complain at all. Furthermore, based on the development of the situation, they really had to get on good terms with Long Fei. Because the Demon Emperor was definitely determined to keep Long Fei in the Magic Tribe. In the beginning, Long Fei did not agree, but now he directly used the Princess Sand Moon to make Long Fei his son-in-law. In that case, even if Long Fei was a human, he would still be half a Magic Tribe. Everyone knew. The reason the Demon Emperor did all these was to make Long Fei a member of the Magic Tribe. Hurry up. Earth-grade Emperor Spirit Saber? F***CK, you dare to take out such trash like that? Scram right now. Don't ever let me see you again, the Demon Emperor shouted out. Very unhappy. That person complained repeatedly and immediately said, Lord Demon Emperor, please calm your anger. That is only a gift. The real gift is here. As he spoke, he took out another item. The demon emperor grinned and said, high-grade heaven-step demon spirit pill, not bad. This thing can barely work. My niece is getting married. Do not take out any earth-grade trash, or else I will be very unhappy. Do you understand? Earth-rank magic weapon is trash? How many people had this caused to crumble? It had to be known that the price an Earth-stage magic weapon had to pay was the same for humans and magic tribe. This kind of magic weapon was something that could only be encountered by chance and not sought. However, in the eyes of the Demon Emperor, Earth-rank magic weapon were indeed trash. The Transformers stood behind the Demon Emperor, laughing foolishly. I made it, my boss made it, ha ha ha. This is to get rid of the magic tribe. He smiled even more like an idiot. The Demon Emperor turned around and coldly stared at him. What are you laughing at? Do you think that you don't need to send a gift just because your long phase war pet? Oh yeah, did you drink just now? Transformers was startled for a moment, then said, drink, drink. The Demon Emperor's eyes were filled with anger as he immediately shouted, you dare to not give me a wedding wine after drinking it? I think you must be tired of living. Transformers was confused, his eyes were helpless, he was just a beast. What could he have on him? However, the Demon Emperor's eyes were fixated on the golden armor on his body as he muttered to himself, the armor is not bad, and it's even crafted from gold. If it melts, my eldest niece will probably make a bunch of golden war device. Transformers was startled, he immediately retreated and said immediately, the armor on me is grown from my flesh, I cannot take it off, I cannot take it off. He was extremely afraid. The Demon Emperor had a fickle temperament, he was just like a lunatic. No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do, just like when he was married. Not agree? Humph. Bind him directly with his strength, whether you agree or not, as long as he agrees. The armor grew out of the body? Not bad, your head. 2 heads, 1 extra is useless anyway. It should be good to use it as a chair, hey, little fellow, don't run. Ha ha ha. The Demon Emperor laughed loudly as he saw the Transformers run out like a madman. And then, his gaze turned and stared at the cold Kai Lina. Kai Lina immediately said, I'm not drinking. The Demon Emperor's eyes widened as he revealed a displeased expression. You didn't drink alcohol? So you're not happy? You don't like my eldest niece's wedding? It was impossible to guard against. Kai Lina wanted to cry, and said, if my lord gets married, I won't even have the time to be happy, how can I not accept this? The Demon Emperor said, you make it sound so far-fetched. Do you also like that boy? Kai Lina. The Demon Emperor said, if I had known this would happen, I would have let the 3 of you marry. There isn't much of a single wife in our magic tribe, as long as the man is strong enough, he can marry any woman in the world. I don't mind if he marries a few more. Kai Lina. The Demon Emperor said, why don't we hold another wedding tomorrow? Kai Lina flapped her wings, she really couldn't take it anymore. Shua. He soared into the sky and disappeared into thin air. The Demon Emperor grinned and laughed. I'm not joking. Following that, he then shouted at the people in the courtyard, who else didn't give me a gift? Be well behaved, and if I find out someone didn't, I'll break his 3rd leg. The people in the yard complained. Right now, they were almost naked. He even lost the clothes he was wearing. On the other side, the pile of spirit weapons and treasures were like a small mountain. At this time, one of them said, Lord Demon Emperor, we have already given you gifts. As the uncle of the Princess Sand Moon and also the host of our wedding ceremony, what have you given us? With that, many people started to jeer. What did you send? Just ask us to send you off. What did you give us? Exactly. Show us what you're giving us. The Demon Emperor wasn't angry. He grinned and chuckled. You want to see? All right. Then let me show you. And then, the Demon Emperor took out a set of undergarments from the space ring. That's right. A set of underwear. It was a brand new underwear, and it even had lace on it. Although the method was different from his previous life, everyone could tell that it was just a piece of black, seductive underwear. The Demon Emperor said with a smile, the things you're giving are trash. Only this Demon Emperor knows what they need. They need a harmonious married life and a happy sports life. Everyone's eyeballs were about to fall out of their sockets. That works too. The demon emperor thought to himself, my eldest niece is wearing this set of clothes. With her looks, how could that man possibly leave? Isn't it all about staying in my magic tribe obediently? Ha ha ha. This demon emperor is a genius. And then, the demon emperor said, men, bring this set of clothes to my room. Remember to let her wear it. Understood. A servant girl walked forward and said, as you command. Ha ha ha. The demon emperor laughed out loud again, thinking, boy, the person I have my eyes on can let you escape? Then I, the demon emperor, have wasted all these years of living here, haven't I? At this moment, someone asked, the clothes just now were for the bride. What about the groom? What did you prepare? Don't tell me you also prepared a set of underwear. Stop blinding us. I've already lost one eye, I don't want to lose another. A one-eyed man said. The demon emperor rolled his eyes. Am I such a lowly person? Everyone nodded. F***ck. The demon emperor disdainfully said, I've prepared 2 gifts. One for the bride and the other for the groom. That is. The demon emperor pretended to be mysterious and faintly smiled. Everyone in the courtyard quieted down and looked at him. After mulling over for half a minute, the demon emperor said, I will take him as my last disciple and become one of my 18 captains of Magic King. Chapter 2467, 10-Story Devil Tower Test. Chapter 2467, 10-Story Devil Tower Test. 18 captains of Magic King had a special identity. The identity of the last disciple was even more different. Needless to say, this gift was very thick. It was so thick that it caused everyone present to suck in a breath of cold air. Moreover, they all knew that the demon emperor wasn't joking. Long Fei would replace Meng Qian as one of the 18 captains of Magic King. Not only that, he was also the last disciple of the demon emperor. In other words, his identity was now equivalent to the crown prince of Magic Tribe. This ceremony, it was too thick. It was so thick that it made everyone fall silent. This made the demon emperor a bit uncomfortable. What? Scared? Ha ha ha. I knew it would be like this. How can this demon emperor compare to you trashy gifts? An old man walked out and seriously said, Lord Demon Emperor, he is a human. The 2 words, human, were particularly emphasized. The Magic Tribe was irreconcilable with the human race. It had been like this for tens of thousands of years, constantly fighting, constantly adding to the hatred. The human race wanted to eliminate the Magic Tribe. Magic Tribe was the same. Although the demon and human races had eased up a little over the years, it was because of the various wars that had occurred in the human countries. The fall of the Wei kingdom, Zhaoguo's rise. Once Zhaoguo stabilized himself, the next step would probably be the Great War between the 2 races. It was very dangerous for humans to become 18 captains of Magic King at this time. Even if Long Fei became the son-in-law of the Magic Tribe, he was still a human after all. The demon emperor faintly said, so what? The old man said, I know that you have your eyes on him, but he does indeed have many spots of light on him. Strong, unyielding, 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 even if it takes his life to save Princess Sand Moon, this is something that our Magic Tribe admires, but... Master, he is a human. If you insist on doing this, I am afraid many tribes in Magic Tribe will not agree. At this time, a few more people walked out and said, Your Excellency Demon Emperor, Old Zhu is right. After all, he is a human, he cannot be accepted as a last disciple, and even more so cannot be conferred with the 18 captains of Magic King. Lord Demon Emperor, please reconsider. Lord Demon Emperor, please reconsider. This was no ordinary matter, and it might affect the future of the entire Magic Tribe. The Demon Emperor's eyes darkened. At this time, he didn't have that cynical expression. Instead, he looked at them seriously. He let out a soft breath and said, What if I insist? Zhu Tianlu said, Lord, if you insist on taking him in as your 18 captains of Magic King, our Magic Tribe will initiate an impeachment conference. As soon as he finished, everyone was stunned. The impeachment conference was a council member formed by the patriarch of the 10 tribes. Impeding the Demon Emperor. Once the meeting was approved, then, no matter how strong you are, once you are abolished, you will no longer be the Demon Emperor of the Magic Tribe. All the tribes in Magic Tribe would not listen to his commands. However, the impeachment conference had never been launched. Because, even if the Demon Emperor was defeated, the Demon Emperor had made mistakes in his decision-making. However, the loyalty the Magic Tribe had towards the Demon Emperor was extremely high. However, for a human to become 18 captains of Magic King, that was the bottom line. Humans, Mo and Mo could not tolerate each other. To let a human become 18 captains of Magic King, if by any chance. What would happen if a true human clan member obtained all the inheritance of the Demon Emperor and became the Demon Emperor of the Magic Tribe? The Magic Tribe was controlled by a human? Where could the people of Magic Tribe place their faces? The Demon Emperor smiled. The impeachment committee? Zhu Tianlu kneeled down and said, "As long as you take back what you just said, I am willing to die to atone for my sins." Many people followed suit and kneeled down. The Demon Emperor could be said to be doing whatever he wanted in the Magic Tribe. He was unbridled and unrestrained, but that was it. Conference on impeachment. Just like the Council of Elders above the king. Usually it doesn't matter, but once you make a basement line mistake, this parliament might start. The Demon Emperor gripped his fists together and then gently thrust them out, falling silent. His mind was thinking non-stop. No one could stop him from doing what he wanted to do. The reason he wanted to become the Demon Emperor was because of his personality. He wanted to be unrestrained and do whatever he wanted. But this time, he was in trouble. He also did not expect that accepting a human as his disciple would bring him so much trouble. He just purely wanted to get a genius like Long Fei. There were no other ideas. He just felt that, although Long Fei could give Magic Tribe a different kind of power than what he had given this world, it was still a different kind of exciting news. Let go. The Demon Emperor felt somewhat unwilling. All these years, he had been searching for a genius. Every single one of the 18 captains of Magic King S were extremely freakish geniuses, and every single one of them could take charge by themselves. Even Meng Qian's aptitude in the 18 captains of Magic King S could only be considered average. In the Magic Tribe, he had 18 disciples, all of whom were geniuses that only appeared once in 1,000 years. As Meng Qian fell, his heart did not feel any pain. Because the death of his disciple meant that he wasn't strong enough. When Long Fei appeared in his heart, he was stunned. He was attracted by the power, aura, and unswerving determination in Long Fei's body. This kid had potential, very great potential. He really wanted to take Long Fei in as his disciple, but he did not expect Long Fei to actually reject him, which made him want to take Long Fei in even more. But now, the impeachment conference. He knew clearly in his heart that the moment the conference was initiated, he would be impeached and ousted from the position. It did not matter. What was more important was that he would not be able to take Long Fei as his disciple. Let go just like that. No way. That's not my style. The Demon Emperor's heart turned grim. He looked at the elders kneeling in the courtyard and said, "There is another way to start the impeachment conference." Seeing that the Demon Emperor wasn't willing to give up, Zhu Tianlu earnestly said, "Lord Demon Emperor, why do you insist on taking in a human disciple? Which one of the Demon Emperor's 17 sons wasn't a genius? I can't believe there's no one better than him, and our Magic Tribe still has many peerless geniuses." That's right. Just listen to old Zhu's words of advice. Please. The many old men all knelt down in persuasion. The Demon Emperor acted as if he did not hear what they had said and said, "If he can withstand the rotation of the Magic Tribe, then he would be qualified to do anything and I can take him in as my disciple." As soon as he finished, Zhu Tianlu's eyes narrowed. The 10-story Devil Tower test. This was a test set up by the Magic Tribe for outsiders. Once they passed, there would be no reason for Magic Tribe to stop them from doing anything. But, so far, no one had managed to pass the 10-story Devil Tower trial. Not to mention a human, even people from the Magic Tribe would not dare to try, because this test was simply impossible to pass. Not only was it a competition of cultivation, strength and martial skills, It was an overall competition. Every floor was filled with the peak powerhouse S. Also, if he lost the match, then Long Fei might die inside, and not only that, the people who recommended Long Fei to enter the 10-story Devil Tower trial would also be expelled out of Magic Tribe. This punishment was too severe. No one was willing to try. The Demon Emperor chuckled and said, "That's right. The 10-story Devil Tower's Tess." The mission of sending the Princess Sand Moon out of the desert was not completed. Even after saving her from Meng Qian's grasp, she was still incomplete. But now that the mission announcement had suddenly rang out, Long Fei's heart was startled. He had thought that he still had to trigger something before he could complete the mission. Check it out. A number appeared on the interface in his mind and continued to climb. Ding. System notification. Player has received SSS Super High Score. Ding. Obtain an advanced score and trigger a special reward. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining charm value plus 100 point. Ding. System notification. Player's charm value is the highest point. Holy shit, this is the Super High Score system's reward. Charm value? What the heck is the use of this? Long Fei grumbled in disdain. I don't need charm value to pick up girls. What's the use of having charm value? Long Fei relied on methods. He relied on his domineering aura. Charm? Only a sissy needs charm to attract a gay. He was slightly dissatisfied with the system's special reward this time. Long Fei complained, "What's not good about rewards? What kind of charm value are you trying to reward me for? It's not like I'm going to choose a beauty. Why would a man be so beautiful?" At this moment, Transformers looked at Long Fei curiously. Long Fei stared at him and said, "What are you looking at? Is there a flower on my face?" Transformers gave a silly smile and said, "No, boss. I don't know why, but I suddenly realized that you've become more handsome, and I couldn't help but want to get close to you." At this time, Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei with an obsessed expression. Chapter 2472, The World of Nantian Monument. Chapter 2472, The World of Nantian Monument. A look of infatuation. Those eyes. It was like a small dog seeing a bone. It wanted to pounce on him and bite him. Long Fei was also stunned. Princess Sand Moon was a person who had self-control and would never have this kind of expression, but right now, she was constantly leaning towards Long Fei's side, unable to help herself. Long Fei asked, "Princess, Princess." Princess Sand Moon still had an infatuated look on her face as she said, "Don't call me princess, I'm your wife. Call me my wife, or minute. That sound. So coquettish that it makes one's bones go numb." Long Fei felt goosebumps all over his body. He never knew that a woman's voice could be so coquettish, nor could he imagine that such a voice came from the mouth of a Princess Sand Moon. She was the inheritor of the ancient artifact forging, and a man who could wield a hammer of a few £1,000s. Now she was a soft girl. It's going to come up. The aura on Long Fei's body trembled slightly. Boom! Princess Sand Moon also suddenly awakened as he looked at Long Fei, his face flushed red. Did I do something out of bounds just now? The Transformers laughed. Long Fei glared at him and the Transformers immediately shut his mouth. "You don't know what you just did." Princess Sand Moon's face was flushed red. She did not dare to look straight into Long Fei's eyes, and shook her head. "I felt like I was dreaming." Long Fei was depressed. He muttered, "Are charm value that powerful?" Princess Sand Moon glanced at Long Fei for a bit, and said, "I've discovered that you're different from before." Long Fei said, "Where's the difference?" Princess Sand Moon said, "It's even more charming. an irresistible charisma. It's uncontrollable and wants to get close to you. It's very fast, it's too weird. She didn't dare to look straight into Long Fei's eyes at all. She was worried that she was going to be lost again. Following that, the Princess Sand Moon said, "There are only 3 days left before you enter the 10-story Devil Tower. You should cultivate properly for these 3 days. I will also prepare a bit for you." After saying that, she hurriedly ran out like a kitten who had been caught stealing food. Furthermore, she covered her face with her hands. She looked extremely adorable when she was in her infatuation for a young girl. Long Fei watched in a daze, so cute. When Princess Sand Moon walked out of the courtyard, Long Fei suddenly remembered something and said, "Today is our wedding day, we have yet to get married." Transformers said, "Boss, I'll call her back." Long Fei waved his hand and said, "Forget it, this will happen sooner or later anyways. There's no rush." Seeing that the Princess Sand Moon girl was still in love with him, Long Fei laughed mischievously as he thought to himself, "You won't be able to escape from my clutches, he. All right." He did not know why, but he felt that this world was extremely familiar to him, and it made him extremely comfortable, as if he was in his mother's embrace. He didn't know how long he walked for. Suddenly, a roar sounded in the sky, as if the sky was splitting apart. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A baby covered in rainbow-colored scales descended from the sky. It was very clear. He could clearly see that the baby had 2 thin tentacles on his forehead and a small tail on the bone spike on his buttocks. Very cute. At this moment, the chaotic world suddenly seemed to be alive. The earth split, space distorted, and after a short explosion, the world began to recover with a cry from the baby. Earth, water, mountains, trees, grass. The same thing happened, just like a miracle. It grew out of thin air. Finally, there were all sorts of exotic flowers and herbs, and then animals appeared. Everything was so harmonious, even if a demon beast appeared. It was unknown how many years had passed since the harmonious scene had taken place. Suddenly, the sky darkened again and split open once more. A huge rock fell from the sky and heavily crashed into the ground. At the same time, the vanishing baby reappeared, but he was no longer an infant, but a dragon, a true dragon king whom Long Fei had never seen before. Furthermore, a scene that made Long Fei's pupils shrink suddenly appeared. After the dragon took form, it transformed into a human body. That person. It was actually him. Chapter 2473, The Legendary That Man. Chapter 2473, The Legendary That Man. Terrifying. Extremely terrifying. It was like a terrifying novel. At that moment, Long Fei's mind trembled, and was unable to control himself. At the same time, that true dragon king began to roar. Twisting. The whole world was trembling, the beasts were roaring, and everything in the world seemed to be begging. At this moment, this dragon was a god, a ruler. Everything in the world was born because of him. His anger frightened the world. However, at this moment, rumble. That huge stone suddenly soared up into the sky, and then suddenly fell down heavily, directly bombarding the head of that true dragon king. Rumble. With a loud bang, everything returned to normal. At this moment, the scene suddenly stopped, and Long Fei suddenly gasped, his mind coming out from the image. His face was pale and his entire body was drenched. The scene just now was too terrifying. Regardless of the birth of the world, that king of true dragons, and the suppression by that gigantic boulder at the very back made Long Fei feel an endless sense of oppression. What made him even more shocked was that the human form of the true dragon was exactly the same as his. Why is that? Fear rose in Long Fei's heart, and he said, "Could it be my previous life? Shouldn't I be a otaku on Earth in my previous life?" His previous life. That's impossible, right? Long Fei had awakened all the memories on Earth. The memories of his birth were especially clear to him. Surrounded by a large group of powerhouse, there was even an alien creature that planted an AI game system in his body. How could he be the dragon? Why does it look the same as mine, or does it look the same no matter who goes in? Long Fei muttered, and looked at the Nantian monument once again. Looking at its shape and the shape of the Nantian monument dropping from the sky, his heart trembled. This can't be the rock that suppressed the king of true dragons, right? F***CK. Then this thing is awesome. If it can even suppress a dragon, then using it to knock over a 10-story devil tower should be a piece of cake, right? Long Fei thought happily. He did not think too much about the scene inside the Nantian monument stone. To him, the Nantian monument stone was a super artifact. He now knew how to use the Nantian monument. Boom. It was suppression. Just as Long Fei was about to enter the Nantian monument stone, under his right arm, the power of the ancient world's inheritance slightly awakened that dragon-shaped mark. At this moment, in another plane, God's tribe, shrine, Emperor Xian suddenly opened his eyes. Tens of thousands of rays of light shot out, patrolling the world. Shrine shook. Countless powerhouse of God's tribes rushed towards the Emperor Xian palace in unison. As they kneeled down heavily outside the door, Lord Emperor Xian, what happened? Something that could cause Emperor Xian to open his eyes and shoot out tens of thousands of beams of light to patrol the entire realm was no small matter. The last time Emperor Xian opened his eyes was more than 100 years ago when a kid from the lower realms charged into killing God altar to kill him. However, the instant it was suppressed, Emperor Xian had never opened his eyes for the past 100 years. The light illuminated the 10,000 worlds. As if the sun was shining down, no one other than the powerhouse of God's tribe noticed anything. After a long time, the voice of the Emperor Xian came out from the shrine, and said indifferently, "The repression of boundary stones has awoken." What? Repression of boundary stones? Isn't it destroyed? Why does it still exist? Everyone was shocked. There was basically nothing in the entire universal realm that could shock them to the point where their eyes were filled with fear, but now, their eyes were filled with fear. Repression of boundary stones. The number one stone in ancient world. It could be said. It stood above the ancient world because it was this stone that had suppressed the person from ancient world back then. After a long time, the Emperor Xian said slightly, "Perhaps, the ancient legends are true. That person really does exist." Who was that person? I don't know. Name, gender, age, attributes. No one in the ancient world and the billions of people in the universal realm knew who that person was. However, they all knew of the existence of that person. It was only because that person had an ancient world, which was why there were all kinds of ancient inheritance. Without that person, this world would still be in chaos. Emperor Xian, that was only a teleportation invented by the dragon race. It did not even exist. So what if it exists? We are in charge of the ancient inheritance in the 9th floor of ancient world and we control billions of planes. So what if that person appears and the repression of boundary stones appears? With our strength, who would dare to contend against us? That's right. Many powerhouse of God's tribes said. Emperor Xian smiled faintly. Anyone in front of the God's tribe would be ants. To control the universal realm, to control the power of ancient inheritances above the 9th level that were born in the ancient world. This was the God's tribe. An incomparably powerful God's tribe. The God's tribe that no one could shake. Emperor Xian never knew what fear was. And then, the repression of boundary stones still needs a long time before it can fully awaken. During this time, you must help me find it, find that person, find the repression of boundary stones. Yes. Many powerhouses made loud noises. Just at this time, a presbyter of God's tribe said in a low voice, "The last time we found an aura of the ancient inheritance's power in the lower planes, should we report it?" What plane? An elder asked. Zhenwu continent. The most remote plane of universal realm? To think that the aura of the ancient inheritance would actually appear in such a place. Didn't they send people to that plane? I believe we're almost there, right? I don't need to trouble Lord Emperor Xian with such a small matter. However, there have indeed been some changes in that plane during this period of time. How about this? Send 2 inspector heavenly ambassadors as well. Yes, sir. The meeting of the God's tribe ended. Emperor Xian closed his eyes once again. The gods' tribe regained its calm. However, the two gods' tribes flew out. The awakening of repression of boundary stones represented the awakening of that person. Because the two were one. Just like how it was when it was born, it almost always descended from the crevices in the sky. That time, the repression of boundary stones had suppressed the king of true dragons. Why did it suppress him? No one knew. There were legends about suppressing demons and devils, and rumors about the king of true dragons wanting to destroy the world, so he was suppressed. As for which type, no one could figure it out. Countless years had passed, and the ancient inheritances produced by the ancient world were able to improve the hundreds of millions of planes in the universe. Powerhouse appeared one after another. Towards that person, the legends of the repression of boundary stones no longer concerned him. Dragon Abyss Dungeon. Long Zhanting's eyes flickered, his entire body was shrouded in a bloody mess, and he was unspeakably excited. Ha ha ha. The repression of boundary stones has awakened. The true Dragon King has also awakened. Let's rise. Ha ha ha. Let the world tremble again. Ha ha ha. Chapter 2474, The Challenge of All Things. Chapter 2474, The Challenge of All Things. The next day, early in the morning, the Princess Sand Moon and his clansmen had all disappeared. He left behind a message that he was going to carry out a great refining exercise. Long Fei did not look for him either. In these 3 days, he had to prepare with all his might. King Kong, did you look for him? In the yard. Long Fei glared at King Kong. Transformers bitterly said, I found it, I really couldn't find it. I also thought it was strange. Tell me, why doesn't a dignified magic tribe have anything of value? It's all because of that demon emperor. This bastard must be the reincarnation of a bandit. He took away all the congratulatory gifts he received yesterday. This is too despicable. I even wanted to make a huge fortune from this. Long Fei thought of a very important matter very early in the morning. The property of the Meng clan. However, the man and the beast had almost turned the Meng family around, but they couldn't find anything valuable, which made Long Fei very depressed. He still wanted to find something to exchange, at least. Exchange for a few double experience scrolls or something, but he didn't even have a clue. Transformers said, Boss, let's not talk about treasures for now. My stomach is rumbling like thunder. Can you fill it up first? Eat, eat, eat. You know how to eat. Long Fei said disdainfully. With your current cultivation, do you still need to eat? Transformers said, Yesterday, I was too tired, and my energy was completely depleted. Eating food is the best way to replenish energy. Hey, boss. The flood dragon I killed yesterday is still here. Why don't we eat grilled flood dragon meat in the morning? Flood dragon meat? Not yet, go get some. Forget it. I'll go with you. With your looks, don't scare the citizens of the city. When Long Fei walked out of the courtyard, the Transformers immediately followed him. Just as they were about to leave the Meng clan, 2 disciples, who were not members of the Meng clan, blocked their way. You can't leave the Meng clan. One of the guards looked at Long Fei, and the expression in his eyes changed slightly as he thought to himself, how can there be such a handsome person? Transformers was immediately enraged, and asked, Who are you? That warrior said, We are the guards of the 10-story Devil Tower. You promised to challenge the 10-story Devil Tower, so you are not allowed to leave until after you have entered the Demon Pagoda. Long Fei said slightly, We are just going out to eat, we won't run. That person didn't dare look Long Fei in the eye. His tone was very gentle, and said, I'm sorry, but I can't let you out. Even if I tell you to leave, you won't be able to leave. The Meng family has already laid down a boundary, so you won't be able to leave. Right, right. What do you want to eat? I'll buy it for you. Chapter 2475, Arrogant Needs Capital. Chapter 2475, Arrogant Needs Capital. Ding. Refinement successful, proficiency plus 3 points. Ding. Talisman refining successful, proficiency plus 3 points. Ding. Inscription successful, proficiency plus 3 points. Ding. Refined puppet technique, proficiency plus 3 points. He was going all out. Long Fei was really risking his life. The notifications kept ringing in his mind. They were ringing again and again without stopping. This feeling was even worse than death. Unendurable pain. However, Long Fei had to endure it. Right now, the only thing he was glad about was that he had practiced all the supporting cultivation methods he could at the Xianyu sect for a whole day. Otherwise, even if he wanted to cultivate now, he would have no way to do so. Ding, 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 ding. In the courtyard, the entire courtyard was filled with various items that Long Fei had refined. The quality was not high, and many of them were defective, but this was not the main point. The important thing was the proficiency. Moreover, these auxiliary skills were all the same as the alchemy technique. They all possessed a strong power, which is also the ancient martial arts that senior immortal Liu Tian mentioned. Ancient alchemy technique. Ancient alchemy. Ancient talisman technique. It was as if Long Fei had all the supporting skills that he had trained in before. There was no gap at all between them. He would immediately refine them, he would immediately learn them, and there was no need to adjust his skills at all. Long Fei attributed this reason to the system. To him, it was just like training a skill in a game. He did not need to adapt and adjust himself. Actually, this was because the dragon-shaped mark under his right arm had woken up slightly. This allowed him to be proficient in the cultivation of these ancient martial arts, and not have any form of rejection. A bunch of them again. Transformers pushed a small cart, putting away all the puppets and talismans Long Fei refined, then pulled them out and dumped them all. Looking at the large pile of new things in the courtyard, Transformers couldn't help but exclaim, "Isn't this speed too fast? It's practically like a production workshop." After that, he quickly loaded the small cart. He pulled it out. He was not restricted in the boundary and could freely enter and exit. A place outside the city where garbage was piled up. This place was filled with rubbish dumped by the Transformers. When Transformers arrived again, they started rummaging through the trash. An old man dressed in a black robe. Their cultivation level was very strong, and upon seeing that, Transformers immediately became cautious, and muttered, "There is still someone picking up trash these days? It seems like the lives of the people of Magic Tribe are very difficult." Seeing Transformers pushing another small cart over, an old man's footsteps moved. He instantly appeared in front of Transformers and said, "Is this another defective product that he just refined?" "Heh." Transformers was startled, then immediately became angry, and said, "Damn, what do you mean by defective? Do you King know how to speak? Everything that my boss forges is of the highest quality. Ha ha ha." In the distance, a man laughed loudly. He picked up a puppet on the ground and said, "Exquisite. This kind of trash can even be considered top quality." While they were talking, as true essence gushed in, the puppet suddenly seemed to come to life. At this moment, catcher, catcher. All the parts on his body fell apart. That person smiled and said, "A puppet that can't even withstand true essence is called an extreme quality puppet. So this is what you humans think is the best of the best. This is good enough." Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed. That person picked up another talisman and poured more true essence into it. From the talisman, a three-legged cat ran out. It was sickly at that. "This is a beast talisman. It's really amazing." He nearly scared them to death. Not long after, the three-legged cat was on the verge of death. Everyone laughed again. Transformers was in a bad mood. No matter what kind of pill Long Fei refined, even if it was trash, no one was allowed to insult him, so he quickly stood up. Roar. The golden armor all over his body violently exploded. Power exploded from his body as his body burned with power. Sweeping the air with his gaze, he stared at the person who spoke, "If you say another word, I will kill you." Incomparable savagery. That person's face sank as he shouted, "You beast, am I afraid of you?" Roar. Transformers roared, supporting himself with his feet, he pounced forward. His fists moved. King Kong powerful fists. It was as if the power of thunder was tumbling around him. The middle-aged man's expression slightly darkened. He suddenly descended, releasing his true energy. A thick illusory image of a steel armor directly covered his entire body. Boom! Boom! The King Kong powerful fist descended, and the steel armor on the middle-aged man immediately shattered. His entire body flew out, smashing onto the ground and spitting out a large mouthful of blood. His face was pale. Transformers shouted, "You say my boss refined something that's trash? Who do you think you are? Even if you are trash, you do not have the right to say it." And then he rushed up again. At this moment, the other middle-aged men looked at each other and surrounded Transformers at the same time. Boom! Boom! The four of them attacked at the same time, and their cultivations were all at the high stage of the arrogant form. Transformers blocked two people, but the other two people's power smashed onto his chest. Its enormous body was also sent flying backwards. Bam! Transformers' body jolted, and he immediately stood up. Just at this moment, the person who was initially knocked down by him heavily leaped. His fist was like thunder, as he smashed Transformers to the ground once again. The other four gathered around him. The five of them attacked together. Transformers could not defend at all, his hands protecting his head. Bam! Bam! Bang! 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 Hitting Transformers with punches and kicks, he did not give him the chance to breathe. This was also because his defense was strong enough, otherwise, he would have been crippled a long time ago. Humph! Bastard, you dare to be arrogant in front of us? What does your master count as? Humans dare to be so arrogant in our magic tribe territory? If it wasn't for the demon emperor protecting him, he would have already died. You want to challenge the 10-story devil tower to refine these trash? You overestimate yourself. Kill me. I will kill you. The five of them attacked even more ferociously. Suddenly, the sky darkened and a figure descended. With an ice-cold voice, he shouted, "Stop." The faces of the five people changed. He immediately stopped and stood to the side, saying respectfully, "Grand Elder." The elder glared at them. "Who told you to do this?" Transformers crawled up from the pit. His entire body was covered in mud and wounds. Blood trickled down the corner of his mouth as he spat out some blood and said, "Just your strength alone is not enough to tickle me." The old man looked up and said to Transformers, "You need capital to be arrogant, and an arrogant person without capital is not arrogant. That is courting death." With just a glance, Transformers felt an unprecedented pressure. The old man looked around at the things that Long Fei had refined and said, "This sentence of yours to give to your master, in Magic Tribe's territory, it's not his place to do as he pleases. Just based on these. You want to challenge the 10-story Devil Tower?" Almost looking to die. After he finished speaking, the old man did not even look at Transformers and his figure disappeared. A man mocked, "Do you hear me? He is one of the protectors of the 10-story Devil Tower. Go back and tell your master, arrogant people need capital, ha ha ha." There must be. The Ming clan's seal can be used to quickly cultivate dark-type cultivation techniques. If I can have this sort of space, I might be able to learn these supplementary skills. Space. Space. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a trace of light. With a wave of his right hand, he summoned his Nantian monument and said, "There is also an independent space within this Nantian monument. Although this is a chaos world, let's give it a try." Long Fei didn't want to miss any of this opportunity. He had originally wanted to spend 3 days and 3 nights to cultivate. He should be able to handle it with a level 6 or 7 skill. But now, when the Transformers was beaten up, coupled with the words "arrogance requires capital," it made him extremely unhappy. Or not. Do it. He was going to do it on his first try. Buzz. Long Fei held onto the Nantian monument with his right hand. The idea moved and once again entered the chaotic world inside the monolith. At this moment, Long Fei did not care about the things in the space, and anxiously tried to cultivate. Engraving formation, release. Ding. Inscription failed, proficiency +1. Heh. Long Fei's heart sank, even you can't do it. He tried a few more times, but the results were the same, both of them failed. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said, "Is there really no chance?" Boom! Long Fei roared out, and immediately superimposed the ancient martial arts on top of the others, tightening his spirit power, ancient engraving formation. Boom! Ding! System notification. Inscription successful, proficiency plus 200 point. As soon as the system announcement rang out, Long Fei was dumbfounded. Who cares what connections he has? We'll first raise all of these support skills to the divine level before anything else. We need the capital. That should be enough to kill you, right? Long Fei's heart sank. Regarding some things that he could not figure out, Long Fei did not want to waste his brain cells. He knew one thing. What should come will eventually come. Since you're here, don't even think about leaving. Bring it on. Go on a rampage. Long Fei roared, and entered into a berserk mode. It was great, every time he increased the number of proficiency S by 200, at the same time. It was also very painful, because every time Long Fei used ancient power, he felt as if his mental energy was being drawn out. It was as if his body was being overly consumed. It was extremely hard to bear. This was the reason why he hated cultivating skills. However, no matter how uncomfortable it was, he would grit his teeth and persevere. Because, no matter how much pain he endured, he was not afraid. What he was afraid of was the pain of the people around him. One must suffer hardships in order to become an outstanding man, although it was an old saying, but Long Fei really fought with all his might. He was going crazy. He was like a madman. Again, the veins on Long Fei's forehead bulged, and his teeth chattered explosively. With a heavy roar, he unleashed yet another skill. Transformers was not idle either. While Long Fei was cultivating, he was also cultivating. He completely devoured all of the Flood Dragon's blood essence that Long Fei gave him. At the same time, he used his strongest strength to attack himself as if he was training. He wasn't strong enough. His defense wasn't strong enough. He was doing his best. Outside the city, a purple-robed figure descended. Demon Emperor. Looking at the piles of defective products, his forehead tightened. "Kid, what are you doing?" An elder gently landed on the ground and said, "You have lost this bet." The Demon Emperor's eyes moved and he said with a smile, "It hasn't reached that step yet. I still don't know." The old man said, 10-story Devil Tower, from establishment till now, no one has been able to pass, not to mention that he is only a cowardly human. Look around us, all the refined items are trash. You still want to challenge the 10-story Devil Tower with such a standard? You are betting your own fate. It's also a gamble using Magic Tribe's fate, and also, you are irresponsible towards the Magic Tribe. This time I will not support you. The old man said lightly. The Demon Emperor was the recommended person. If Long Fei lost, he would die. The Demon Emperor would also be expelled from the territory of the Magic Tribe, never to step foot in there again. The Demon Emperor smiled lightly and looked at Meng Cheng. Most of the humans are weak, but he is different. Moreover, humans are much stronger than we imagined. Look at the trash around here, don't you see anything? The elder glanced over it and said with disdain, "Can you tell that he is a trash?" The Demon Emperor laughed, and said, "Although I do not know what the test of 10-story Devil Tower is, but I think he's guessed it. This brat. It's not simple at all. Ha ha ha." As the Demon Emperor finished speaking, he began to laugh. The elder's expression was calm, but his eyes were still filled with disdain. He said, "I don't know why you have such feelings for this human kid, but this time, you will be disappointed. He will die in the Demon Tower." Finished. The old man's body moved and disappeared. The Demon Emperor's smile disappeared and was replaced with seriousness instead. There was also that puzzled look on his face. This time, isn't the bet too big? In front of the old man, he could pretend to believe in Long Fei. Right now, there was no one around, so he couldn't stay calm either. After all, they were 10-story Devil Tower S, and every floor was extremely dangerous. If not, after a long time, The demon emperor let out a long breath and said, "Right now, I can only trust you. Kid, don't let me down, otherwise, I'll fall into your hands." The demon emperor bitterly smiled and said as he watched the setting sun, "We only have one night left." In the courtyard, Long Fei was still cultivating like a madman. He was holding on with all his might every second. Demon Emperor, you can even get hold of something like this. I only have 2 words, awesome. Moreover, Long Fei thought that if he wore this black undergarment on Princess Sandmoon's body, he would probably. Even God couldn't resist the temptation. Thus, Long Fei did not move, he was pretending to be stupid. Princess Sandmoon lowered her head slightly. She played with the corner of her clothes with her hands as her fingers were twisted tightly until it was red and black. It was as if she could not feel any pain. His mind was filled with all kinds of strange ideas. Of course, there were also scenes that were inappropriate for children. Long Fei said slightly, "If you continue to wrap around me like this, your finger will definitely break." Princess Sandmoon reacted and immediately relaxed. He smiled and said, I. Long Fei said, "Too nervous? There's always a first time. Everyone gets nervous. This is also my first time." With his memories sealed by the seal, Long Fei now felt that he had transmigrated here from Earth, so he still didn't know what a woman felt like. He treated himself as if it was his first time. But the first time Long Fei talked about marriage. When Princess Sandmoon thought about it for the first time, she became even more embarrassed and did not dare to raise her head to look at Long Fei. Long Fei looked at her blushing cheeks, and had to say, she was really beautiful. It was so beautiful that he could not control himself. But Long Fei couldn't move now, he wanted to be pushed back. Seeing the Princess Sandmoon not saying a word, Long Fei said, "Eternal night, we can't possibly sit here forever, right?" Princess Sandmoon immediately stood up and said, "I'll go check if they have left." Hey! Long Fei was stunned. They were not on the same channel at all. The Princess Sandmoon walked to the door softly and stopped for a moment. When he found that there was no one outside, he snickered and said in a low voice, "They have left." Long Fei could only smile along, cursing in his heart, "Demon Emperor, are you F***king able to do things properly? What if you call me that? You can't let me use a strong one on your wedding night, right? F***ck. At this time, Princess Sandmoon wanted to open the door, but he found that it was locked. Princess Sandmoon was a little anxious and shouted loudly, "Open the door. Why did you lock it? Hurry and open the door." Locked the door? Another surge of hope rose in Long Fei's heart. At this time, the Princess Sandmoon idea moved, and immediately summoned a huge lightning hammer that was refined, and said, "Don't worry, I'll smash it open." Long Fei was about to jump up on the spot and quickly said, "Forget it, this is unlucky." Princess Sandmoon was startled for a moment, then said, "Unlucky?" Long Fei rolled his eyes and said, "It's extremely unlucky to be able to stay in my hometown. If you break out of my house and escape, you will have no children in the future." Princess Sandmoon muttered, "So ruthless? Don't worry. I'll smash open the door and windows. If I escape, you won't be cursed. I'll go find Uncle Demon Emperor to help you remove the bindings." Princess Sandmoon raised his hammer and was about to smash it. Long Fei continued, "If the curse is real, then I hope that you have no descendants. Furthermore, we are now married." Princess Sandmoon put away her hammer again. She felt warm in her heart, at least Long Fei had treated her as his bride, and as she would get married today. Princess Sandmoon sat back on the bed and asked angrily, "Then what do we do? These people, they don't even have chairs." The corner of Long Fei's mouth twitched, and his gaze landed on the black-colored underwear on the table. Princess Sandmoon immediately reacted and walked towards the table. Long Fei was excited. But, without even waiting for a second, Princess Sandmoon said, "You want me to sit at the table? Long Fei, you want to die." He really wanted to die. Long Fei let out a heavy breath, looked at the black undergarments on the table and said, "This outfit is pretty beautiful, Why don't you try it on? Princess Sand Moon finally reacted. Immediately, his face, which had recovered, turned red again. He lowered his head and entwined his fingers with the corner of his shirt. He didn't speak for a long time. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Long Fei regretted saying what he did just now. If not, he would at least be able to speak, and would not even be able to speak now. The key was, he still couldn't move. He kept his posture, and his body was a little numb. Just when he was about to give up, Princess Sand Moon's voice was as soft as a mosquito's. Do you want to see? Chapter 2479, Triggering Hidden Tasks. Chapter 2479, Triggering Hidden Tasks. What? Long Fei was a little confused. Princess Sand Moon picked up the black undergarments on the table, his face as red paper. He raised his voice a little, looked at Long Fei and said, "Do you want to look?" Gudong. Long Fei's Adam's apple tumbled, he almost jumped up. Luckily, he held himself back. He pretended to be calm and said, "If you are willing, I would like to see." Princess Sand Moon's gaze tensed up as he looked at the clothes in his hand. If he put this clothes on, what would he look like? She really wanted to know. Long Fei said, "If you are not willing, then forget it." Princess Sand Moon immediately said, "I am willing." He thought to himself, "For you, I am willing to do anything." Long Fei had saved her before, twice. To help her get rid of the hidden danger of the Sand Moon tribe and help her get the weapon refining sacred flame allowed the Sand Moon tribe to have a chance to rise up once again. She didn't show any expression on the surface, but her heart was incomparably moved. That girl couldn't have imagined such a thing. A man he loved became enemies with the entire world for her. It was too romantic, and Princess Sand Moon had fantasized about it before. Now, she knew clearly in her heart that Long Fei was a human. After today, he might want to leave this place and he might never step into the territory of the magic tribe. They would be like two parallel lines that would never intersect. Thus, Princess Sand Moon was willing to sacrifice everything in his heart. She slowly undid the buttons on her clothes and stood in front of Long Fei. Her face was no longer blushing, but rather a little calmer. For the man she loved, she was willing to do anything. Long Fei watched in a daze, feeling excited in his heart. It's going to be pushed down, it's going to be pushed down, ha ha ha. I really didn't think that I would use such a method to welcome my first time, ha ha ha. Exceptionally excited. But, just when he was extremely excited and the Princess Sand Moon was about to untie his clothes, bam! The door was knocked down. The door frame was scattered and flying rooms were everywhere. A huge fist with fur and a golden glove. Transformers' fist. Transformers shouted, "Boss, something's happened." F***CK. Long Fei was furious by hundreds of thousands of feet. She instantly jumped up from the bed and rushed forward as she bellowed, "King Kong!" Princess Sand Moon was startled and immediately buckled up. Her face also flushed red, and after seeing Long Fei rushing out of bed, she said, "You can move now?" Long Fei looked at himself and acted dumb. "Hey, I can move now. I can actually move." Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei. She was not stupid. Naturally, they could tell that Long Fei was pretending. When he thought about what he did just now and what he said just now, with a black undergarment in his hand, Princess Sand Moon wanted to find a hole and hide in it. The atmosphere was awkward. Now, he was thinking that it was already impossible for Princess Sand Moon to wear this black robe. Long Fei also lost her interest in sex. He rushed out anxiously. Right now, he wanted to blast Transformers away, walk out of the room and look at him in the courtyard. Not far away, Kai Lina leaned on a pillar. Although it was night, but Long Fei still saw that she was secretly laughing. When Transformers saw Long Fei walking out, he said, "Boss, something bad has happened. Something big has happened." Long Fei suppressed the anger in his heart, stared at Transformers, and asked, "What happened?" It was as if he wanted to kill Transformers with his eyes. Transformers said, "Magic Tribe has joined hands to deal with you." Huh! Long Fei was startled, and said, "Deal with me? I have not provoked the Magic Tribe, nor robbed their women, nor peeked at their wives bathing. Why are you doing this to me?" About that. I don't know the specifics either. Transformers looked at Kai Lina. Long Fei's eyes turned and stared at Kai Lina, and he said, "What exactly happened?" Kai Lina walked forward. The Transformers scratched his head and muttered to Kai Lina, "How do you know the General Assembly is angry?" Kai Lina said, "I don't know the specifics, I only know that Magic Tribe is about to activate the 10-story Devil Tower." 10-story Devil Tower? Long Fei asked. At this time, when the Princess Sand Moon heard 10-story Devil Tower, he quickly came out of the room and said in shock, "What did you say just now? The 10-story Devil Tower's test?" Kai Lina said, "Yes, it is the 10-story Devil Tower's test." Princess Sand Moon frowned, "How can this be?" And then, without thinking, she immediately said, "All of you, quickly leave this place." Long Fei wasn't sure, but she knew what the 10-story Devil Tower test meant. He absolutely could not enter. The Jedi couldn't. He would die in there. Long Fei asked, "What is called the 10-story Devil Tower test? Is it that scary?" Princess Sand Moon said, "It's more than just terror. It's extremely terrifying. So far no one has been able to pass it, and now it's hard to explain. Listen to me, leave now, quickly leave Magic Tribe." Long Fei did not move, and said, "So savage? I would like to try." To him, the more brutal a place was, the more leveling it up. The 10-story Devil Tower sounded very powerful. Could it be a secret world? Is it filled with powerful demon beast? Princess Sand Moon grabbed Long Fei and said, "Listen to me, don't go. Leave now, the faster the better. If you are late, it will be too late." Kai Lina also said, "It should be very scary." The Transformers scratched his head. He was still thinking how Kai Lina knew that Long Fei would get angry. Long Fei replied, "What are you afraid of? Aren't there still the Demon Emperor?" Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes darkened, he fiercely slapped his thigh and said, "Damn, could it be that it was also him who caused this? Ha ha ha." At this moment, a wild laugh fell, and then, the purple-robed man descended. He looked at Long Fei with a face full of smiles and said, "Brat, you really know me, to think that you could actually guess it in a second. Ha ha ha." When the Demon Emperor descended, Transformers and Kai Lina immediately kept their distance. She knew the rules of 10-story Devil Tower. If it was recommended by the Demon Emperor, once Long Fei fails, he will die inside. Moreover, the Demon Emperor would also be expelled from the Magic Tribe. Immediately, the Princess Sand Moon looked at the Demon Emperor and said, "Uncle Demon Emperor, we can't let him in. He will die inside, and you." Not waiting for her to finish, the Demon Emperor's eyes moved, signaling the Princess Sand Moon not to continue. He instead looked at Long Fei with disdain, and said, "Brat, do you dare to try the strongest test in our Magic Tribe? However, humans are cowards and cowards, so it is normal that they don't dare to try. If you don't dare, then pretend I didn't say so." The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei with contempt. Long Fei said, "How so?" The Demon Emperor said, "Just tell me if you dare or not." Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, the system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 2480, The Highest Level 10-Story Devil Tower. Chapter 2480, The Highest Level 10-Story Devil Tower. The 4 elders from the clan of Suppressed Devil were killed. This was undoubtedly a provocation. How dare a human being act so arrogantly in Magic Tribe's territory? No one would be able to tolerate it. Long Fei only let one of them go so that he could lure out 1 or 2 bosses. What he did not expect was that the boss did not appear, but an emergency meeting of the 10 Great Magic Tribe's Magic Mountain. Demonic Shrine. Just now, 4 of the 5 elders from my clan went to welcome that human in the Magic Mountain was killed, and all of them were. All of them had their heads chopped off, and their deaths were incomparably tragic. I can't tolerate this kind of attitude. He is challenging the entire Magic Tribe. When did our Magic Tribe suffer such humiliation? My clan of Suppressed Devil cannot tolerate this, the head elder said with a heavy tone. His face was scarlet red, and his eyes seemed as if they were about to spew fire. As soon as he finished, the hall was filled with discussions. He killed 4 people in a row. What did he want to do? Do you really think we are afraid of a mere human being who is so lawless? This is too presumptuous. I don't know why the Demon Emperor recommended him to challenge the 10-story Devil Tower. Not only did he destroy the Meng family, he even killed an elder of the clan of Suppressed Devil. What is he planning to do? Do you want to cause a war? We can't let him continue to be so arrogant. If you ask me, then forget about the 10-story Devil Tower. Just kill him directly, so that we don't have to waste our time. I agree. We cannot expel the Demon Emperor because of him. You're right. Although the Demon Emperor is fickle, he's still the #1 person in the magic tribe. Furthermore, he was selected by our 10 races to be the Demon Emperor. How could he be expelled? I also suggest we take action immediately. The crowd broke out into a flurry of discussion. They were all in favor of taking action against Long Fei first. Because they knew that Long Fei would definitely not be able to break through the 10-story Devil Tower, and would not be able to get through easily. However, the matter of expelling the Demon Emperor was not small. Adding on the cultivation of the Demon Emperor, this was the true Martial Palace's powerhouse. Without his suppression, the human race would probably not be as quiet as they were now. The great clan elder of the clan of Suppressed Devil frowned, and said solemnly, "We must kill him, but the Demon Emperor has already recommended this. This kind of mistake cannot be forgiven." Everyone quieted down. To recommend humans to challenge 10-story Devil Tower was an unforgivable crime. Moreover, the entire magic tribe knew that the Demon Emperor wanted to take Long Fei as his last disciple. The consequences were not something one person could bear. At this time, an old man asked, "What do you think?" Everyone looked at the great clan elder of the clan of Suppressed Devil. His eyes slightly narrowed, and said, "Bring the 10-story Devil Tower's level increase to its highest level." As soon as he finished, the entire great hall trembled slightly, and everyone's eyes shrunk inwardly. The highest level? Then it wouldn't be them. Originally, the 10 people with 10-story Devil Tower were all them, but their level was the lowest among all the 10-story Devil Tower. The 10-story Devil Tower S were divided into 3 levels. The third level, the great clan elder of the 10 great magic tribes watched over them. The second level, the great clan chiefs of the 10 great magic tribes. The first realm, the master S of the 10 great magic tribes. The 10 great magic tribes all had a few master S that were only at the level of a reclusive world. The ones with the least cultivation were all Da Xia Peak realm, and most of them were Zhenwu realm S. For them to make a move, even in the entire Zhenwu continent, he was still an existence that was able to destroy the heavens and the earth. No one could stop him. This was the first time in history that he had been promoted to the highest level. The main hall was completely silent for a full 3 minutes. An elder said, "Is that really necessary? Wasn't it just a human brat? 10-story Devil Tower S, every level's competition is different, let alone the human race, even our magic tribe has no way of passing through it." That's right. The highest level is for the master to step in. This matter did not have a good impact on our magic tribe. If we let the master know, they would probably blame us for being weak even more. No one dared to lightly touch master. Every single one of the master S were old freaks. They had a weird temper. If they were to be displeased, they would probably lose their lives. More importantly, the master were extremely satisfied with the current Demon Emperor. If they found out that the Demon Emperor recommended humans to challenge 10-story Devil Tower, they would probably be furious. They were willing to endure this anger. At this moment, the great clan elder of the clan of Suppressed Devil said, "That brat destroyed my clan of Suppressed Devil's demon suppressing boundary." In an instant, the entire hall instantly quietened down. All of their gazes were filled with shock while looking at the great clan elder of clan of Suppressed Devil, extremely shocked. Demon suppressing boundary was very famous in magic tribe. There had never been anyone who could break through the demon boundary, but now, it had actually, and it was broken by a human kid. Although the great clan elder was furious in his heart, he still replied honestly. He took less than 3 seconds to break the demon suppressing formation. You could say, instant cast. "I believe he won't be able to pass the 10-story Devil Tower. And I don't want to see the Demon Emperor expelled either. Have you ever thought about what the consequences would be if that kid were to rush through all of them? Careful thinking and fear. These elders felt their scalps go numb. No one could pass the 10-story Devil Tower. Once Long Fei passed it, his influence would shake the entire magic tribe. Not only that, it would also represent his talent and potential. The Demon Emperor would definitely pass on all of his inheritances to him. In the future, Long Fei would become the new Demon Emperor. Humans becoming the rulers of the magic tribe was something they could not accept, absolutely could not accept. After a long time, one of the elders said solemnly, "I will return to the tribe immediately and ask the master to come out." After saying that, his head didn't even fly out of the hall. Next, the other elders were the same. They definitely could not let Long Fei become the disciple of the Demon Emperor, absolutely not. Within the palace, the great clan elder's eyes turned sinister as he spoke sinisterly. "Brat, I said it before, I will make you regret coming to this world. Just you wait. The 10-story Devil Tower will make you tremble." Then, his figure flashed, and he instantly disappeared from the main hall. 10 tribes. The 10 great masters came out. The 10-story Devil Tower instantly rose to the highest level. As the numerous elders left the great hall, the Demon Emperor's figure fell. He smiled and said, "Good boy, as soon as you leave the door, start killing." How exciting. But the Demon Emperor stopped smiling and looked towards the sky, saying, "You took the wrong step, attracting the strongest 10-story Devil Tower in history." Boom. Boom. In the air above Magic Tribe's territory, powerful energies were being released one after another. Every single one of them was the aura of the Zhenwu realm. The Demon Emperor let out a long breath. The old monsters have all come out of seclusion. Sigh. It seems that I will become the first Demon Emperor to be kicked out of the Magic Tribe. The Demon Emperor shook his head with a wry smile. Normal 10-story Devil Tower could not pass it. Now it's the highest level. Then, there was no need to even think about it. He definitely wouldn't be able to pass it. Chapter 2481 Hardness. This was what it meant to be tough. Chapter 2481 Hardness. This was what it meant to be tough. In front of us is Magic Mountain. At the foot of the mountain, Princess Sand Moon raised his head to look at the mountain peak in front of him, his eyes full of respect. Deep in his heart, he felt reverence. Magic Mountain, holy mountain of Magic Tribe. The mountain was precipitous and did not have any plants growing on it. It was like a huge, sharp rock that soared into the sky. The mountain was dark as it pierced through the clouds like a streak of darkness. Looking at it, one would feel as if a bayonet was piercing into the heart of the heavens. Astonishing. Extremely terrifying. Long Fei was also shocked. How awesome. This battle formation seems like it wants to fight against the heavens. Formidable. Truly formidable. Long Fei couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Magic Mountain was like a miracle. Princess Sand Moon said slightly, "This is the place where Magic Tribe originated. Legend has it that before the Magic Mountain was destroyed and led to another world, the people of the Magic Tribe came here from another world. But was directly destroyed by a giant wave of energy. Magic Tribe will always be here." Transformers said in shock, "I can't even see the peak, and you think it has been cut off from the top? Isn't this too amazing?" Princess Sand Moon laughed and said, "This is only a legend, no one can verify it." However, Long Fei asked with doubt, "What about the other half?" Princess Sand Moon was startled for a moment before he replied, "I don't know either. Legend has it that the other half were taken by the gods. There are also rumors that the other half fell into the abyss to block the infernal realm's exit. No one knows." Long Fei looked at the magic mountain with interest as he muttered to himself in his heart, perhaps the legends are true. This mountain might really be able to lead to another world. This was a very special feeling. When he saw the magic mountain, he could not help but feel that it was a bridge connecting two dimensions. If he could find the other half and link it up, he might be able to open the door to another plane. Princess Sand Moon said, "Now, you are the only one who can go up." Long Fei said, "All of you wait here. Don't worry, I will definitely be fine." Princess Sand Moon was a little worried, she didn't know what to say at this time. She could only look at Long Fei and said with concern, "Be careful, if you can't hold on anymore, activate the thing I gave you. You must remember it." Long Fei thought of that mini door and nodded, "I will remember." Just when Long Fei was about to step into the magic mountain boom! The purple shadow descended. Kai Lina, who had disappeared for 3 days, descended. Buzz! His wings flapped, and he immediately blocked Long Fei's way. "You can't go." Transformers and Princess Sand Moon walked over. Long Fei said in shock, "You've finally appeared, I thought you were lost again." He got lost last time at Sunset Canyon. Kai Lina felt a little awkward. She had been lost in the past few days, and could not find her way to Meng City. Otherwise, she would have appeared much earlier. She was an idiot. Even if she flew in the sky, she would still get lost. Fortunately, her IQ wasn't too low. If he could not find his way back to Meng City, then he would have to stay in the Magic Mountain and wait for Long Fei. However, she was glad that she did not go back. Not long ago, the 10 Great Magic Tribes had activated their highest level 10-story Devil Tower and the 10 Great Master S had come out of seclusion. The 10-story Devil Tower. There was no way he could pass through. Kai Lina said anxiously, "We can't go in, they activated the highest level of 10-story Devil Tower." Princess Sand Moon shivered and said, "The highest level. Then, isn't that the master coming out of seclusion?" This. Princess Sand Moon quickly grabbed onto Long Fei's arm and said, "If it's them, then they definitely won't be able to succeed. Long Fei, let's go, let's quickly leave this place." The Magic Tribes were all the elites of the Magic Tribe. It could be said, Magic Tribe relied on this 10 tribes for support. Meng City, that so-called Meng family, was completely incomparable to the 10 tribes. The tribe's great elder who was guarding the 10-story Devil Tower was already unbreakable, no one could pass through, and now directly leveled up to the highest level, the master came out. Then it would be even more impossible to pass. Moreover, this didn't give Long Fei any chance, he directly wanted him to die inside. Princess Sand Moon would never let Long Fei in no matter what. Long Fei was a little excited in his heart, and thought to himself, 10 tribes is powerhouse. Like I said, how can an SSS level super quest be guarded by an ordinary person? The 10 Great Master S. How much experience does that have to be? If we overturn them, we'll almost overturn the entire Magic Tribe. Ha ha ha. Arrogance requires capital. Isn't this capital pretty awesome? Long Fei was excited. A complete lunatic. Princess Sand Moon asked, "You're still laughing? Do you know how strong the 10 tribes is? They were basically all super powerhouse of the Zhenwu realm. If they went out, no one would be able to pass through, and also, you are a human, and they will never let you out alive. We can't participate." Absolutely not. The Princess Sand Moon was extremely worried, holding onto Long Fei's arm tightly as if he was afraid that Long Fei would run away. Kai Lina also said, "It's too dangerous, we can't go." Transformers scratched his head and stood to the side, not knowing what to say. At this moment, boom! A huge aura suddenly exploded. At this moment, the expression in Transformers' eyes suddenly tightened, and instantly rushed to Long Fei's side. His body erupted with a wave of dense chi, and he carefully became on guard, lowering his voice as he said, "Boss, it's him." The one who came was the great clan elder of the clan of Suppressed Devil, Demon Suppression. The Demon Suppressor coldly stared at Long Fei, and said, "The 10-story Devil Tower has already been activated, how can you not participate?" The Princess Sand Moon said, "Demon Suppressing Elder, we have not stepped into the Magic Mountain, according to the rules, We still have more. Not waiting for her to finish, demon-suppressing eyes turned sinister, and said, "Is Sand Moon Tribe a magic tribe or a human? You actually dare to speak to an outsider and eat inside out?" At this moment, boom! A powerful pressure directly attacked Princess Sand Moon. Long Fei squinted his eyes. With a move of his right hand, he unsheathed the sky sword and slashed outwards, immediately shattering the suppressive power of the demon-suppressing orb, and said, "Do you want to touch her again?" The demon suppression great clan elder's gaze tensed up. He did not expect that hitting Long Fei would actually be able to shatter his pressure. His cultivation was much higher than Long Fei. He was a powerhouse of the Mahayana realm. However, demon suppression said coldly, "I'll move it for you to see." Boom. Being killed by his 4 disciples was already quite displeasing to him. If Long Fei didn't enter the 10-story Devil Tower at this time and let him escape, then he would definitely not forgive himself. The power of the Mahayana realm burst out. Staring at Long Fei, the killing intent in his heart was dense. He coldly snorted, "Brat, go and die." Long Fei smirked, "The Mahayana realm, right? Come. Let's see how strong you are." "No, not at all. Stiff. That's it." Chapter 2482, Tasks that may arrive in the sky. Chapter 2482, Tasks that may arrive in the sky no matter what realm you are in, not to mention the Mahayana realm, even if you are the great emperor of Zhenwu, or even the universal realm's superpower house. Long Fei's dictionary still does not have the word cower. Just now. That's it. Who's afraid of who? Long Fei's right hand held the sky sword tightly. He was not worried about anything else. He was just worried that the pressure would cause his body to become slow, so he had to firmly utilize the strength of the sky sword. Strange lights flashed. Long Fei's mind went silent, allowing himself to maintain his peak condition. Sensing the strange aura on the demon suppressor's body, Long Fei immediately reacted. Boom. Rumble. A series of explosions occurred in the air. The ear-piercing sound exploded like a thunderclap. At this moment, Long Fei also felt the inexhaustible power that was attacking him, which set off a huge wave that overflowed the heavens, heavily smashing down. This kind of feeling. It was as if he was floating in the middle of a vast ocean. Alone and without help. Being crushed by the entire world, it was as though he had been abandoned. What a powerful strength. Is this the power of the Mahayana realm? Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. It was much stronger than he had imagined, and his body couldn't help but be crushed by the waves of energy. Slow reaction. Even if the sky sword could cut through everything, but it could not cut off its power. At this moment, Long Fei's sea of consciousness was constantly churning and surging. He was completely unable to control it. His strength was too great. The difference in levels was too great. He couldn't control them at all. Hee. Ha ha. Long Fei clenched his teeth. The idea moved, and started to activate its arrogant god energy value. But right at this moment, buzz. As if a ray of sunlight had scattered into the dark abyss, his entire body felt warm and incredibly comfortable. The energy of the surrounding Mahayana realm was also instantly squeezed out and heavily crushed, and finally disappeared without a trace. Stop. As soon as his voice sounded, his figure also descended as well. Demon Emperor. A sharp light flashed in Princess Sand Moon's eyes as he immediately replied, "Uncle Demon Emperor." Long Fei's heart also sank. He secretly heaved a sigh of relief. If the Demon Emperor had come even later, he could have used his arrogant god energy value, and also, even if he used his arrogant god energy value, he still wouldn't be a match for the demon suppression. He could not help but clench his fists tightly, and thought to himself, if the Mahayana realm is so powerful, then the Zhenwu realm, true martial emperor. That old granny, the Zhao family's powerhouse, Zhu Yaozong. Every single one of them was an incomparably powerful existence. But through the demon-suppressing orb, Long Fei realized that his arrogant form state was not even enough to see through. Even if he had many powerful cultivation techniques, but level determines everything. Even if you can kill people beyond your level, you will still be considered Mahayana realm when you reach level 10. Even Even the powerhouse of the Mahayana realm could not handle it. Level. Level. Long Fei roared in his heart. Demon Suppression's eyes turned sinister as he bowed and said, Demon Emperor. Although he was not happy with Long Fei, he still treated the Demon Emperor with great respect. After all, he was the Demon Emperor, the Emperor of the Magic Tribe, and the most powerful being of the Magic Tribe. The Demon Emperor said, Demon Elder, why do you have to be so angry? Just now, he had felt the killing intent from the demon suppressing orb, and that strength just now. It was his strongest and pinnacle strength, and he wanted to instantly kill Long Fei. Evil Suppression said, he killed 4 of my clan of suppressed devil's elders, how can I not be angry? It would be our shame if an elder of the clan of suppressed devil died in the hands of a human. The Demon Emperor said, 4 elders of the clan of suppressed devil have indeed died, but you should know how they died. If they followed my orders and didn't mock others or make things difficult for others, do you think they will die? The meaning of his words was obvious. He deserved to die. Demon Suppression's eyes darkened. The Demon Emperor said, let's not pursue this matter any further. Then, the Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei and said, right now, you have yet to step into the Magic Mountain. You still have a choice. Once you leave this place, you will be endlessly hunted down by the Magic Tribe. No matter where you are, you won't stop until you die. Recently, Long Fei had been too arrogant in the Magic Tribe. The Master-s of the 10 tribes had all come out of seclusion. Once Long Fei left, the Magic Tribe would activate the Devil Slaughter token. No matter where you are, no matter what identity you have, you must chase him to death. It wouldn't stop until one of them was dead. This was Magic Tribe's strongest killing order. Since ancient times, there had never been a failure. The Demon Suppressor looked at Long Fei. Princess Sand Moon also continuously shook his head at Long Fei. The Devil Slaughter token was indeed afraid, but compared to the highest level 10-story Devil Tower, the Devil Slaughter token was nothing. At least, Devil's killing gives you a chance to live a bit longer. However, 10-story Devil Tower would die if they entered it, leaving not even the slightest chance for it. Long Fei was calm, and there was not a single trace of fear on his face. He did not speak. Instead, he took a few steps forward and directly stepped onto the Magic Mountain. Long Fei, Princess Sand Moon didn't even have time to pull it. Demon Suppressor laughed wildly. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Brat, you have stepped into the Magic Mountain, now you can't even leave if you want. Prepare to tremble. Ha ha ha. And then, the demon suppressing bodies moved, disappearing from where it stood. The Demon Emperor let out a light breath, looked at Long Fei, and said, just now, you still had a slight chance of survival, but now, you've already entered hell. He began to hold on to a trace of hope for Long Fei. However, now, he knew that Long Fei didn't have any chances. He had seen the Master, so these people were not happy with his actions. As a result, they would use all their power to kill Long Fei. To them, Long Fei had already been a dead man the moment he stepped into the Magic Mountain. The Princess Sand Moon was crying as he said, Uncle Demon Emperor, there must be a way, right? Please, don't let him go to the Demon Pagoda. The Demon Emperor shook his head and said, now, I said it didn't count. His authority has been restricted. Even if there were no restrictions, he couldn't do anything to Long Fei, nor could he protect him, because his identity as the Demon Emperor, no matter what happened, it had to be considered in the general context of Magic Tribe. In the beginning, he only purely wanted to take Long Fei as his disciple. He never thought that if so many people objected, he would want to take Long Fei in even more. Now, things had gone big. It was so big that he couldn't keep it any longer. The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei and said, now, it's up to you. It's all up to you now. I will do everything I can to protect the 3 of them. You can rest assured on that. Long Fei said, thank you. Long Fei was worried about Kai Lina, Princess Sand Moon and King Kong. Since the Demon Emperor had promised them, they would definitely be fine. And then, the Demon Emperor's body floated up as he flew towards the peak of the Magic Mountain. Looking at Long Fei who was on the ground, he felt a little apologetic in his heart, and he thought to himself, brat, I'm sorry. He felt that he had destroyed Long Fei. However, he did not know how excited Long Fei was. No one knew. Long Fei was completely excited at this moment. He wanted to level up. He yearned for a breakthrough. The days of the God sect gathering were about to arrive. The arrogant form state might be able to rise to prominence among the young generation, but his target was Yi Yorong's master, the Zhao family, and Zhu Yaozong. SSS Super Mission. No matter how difficult it was, even if there wasn't the demon-suppressing orb, Long Fei would still do it without hesitation, because this task might send him to heaven. Huff. Long Fei let out an excited breath, his mind excited. If I were to beat these people up, how much experience would I get? And the powerhouses are all here. Killing them all would mean exposing the entire magic tribe's treasures. Ha ha ha. Long Fei couldn't help but laugh. He couldn't control it at all. What's he laughing at? Kid, you're about to die, and you still have the nerve to laugh. Laugh? You're going to cry later on. I have never seen the highest level 10-story devil tower in my life before. I never thought that it could be used on a human being. What I want to know now is how that person will die. In seconds. Ha ha ha. To date, the highest level 10-story devil tower had appeared 3 times. The first 2 times were against the 2 heinous demons from Magic Tribe. Were all peak powerhouses of the Zhenwu realm. But he had just barely made it to the 3rd floor and then failed. Died in there. This was the 3rd time Long Fei had met him. He was only at the 2nd stage of the arrogant form. There was no way he could compete with the 2 peak stage Zhenwu devils. Without even thinking, he would die on the 1st stage. Quiet. Suddenly, a deep sound came crashing down. The entire arena suddenly quieted down. The demon suppressor walked up and looked at Long Fei coldly, filled with contempt, and said, "Demon Sacrifice Pagoda." As soon as he finished speaking, boom, boom, boom. 6 male magic tribes dressed in black robes landed heavily on the plaza from 6 different directions. His hands formed a seal as a cut appeared on his palm. Fresh blood gushed out as he slammed his palm on the plaza. Immediately, a hexagram appeared. Linked together. Deep in the center, there was a violent trembling. A powerful force broke through the surface of the earth. Long Fei retreated quickly, his expression darkening. He thought that the 10-story Devil Tower was just like the pagoda that belonged to Heavenly King Li. Even if it wasn't, it was a completed structure. He never thought that it would be summoned from inside the Magic Mountain's body. Rumble. 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 The entire mountain shook violently, and even Long Fei was a little worried that the Magic Mountain would collapse because of this. Bam! The top level of the Demon Pagoda rushed out of the ground. Its entire body was black, and its carvings were filled with all kinds of strange fiendish demons that were covered with runes that had never been seen before. Bam! Yet another layer of power charged out from the ground. Every time a pagoda charged out from the ground, the people from the Magic Tribe would kneel down in worship, as if the pagoda was their god. Why did this happen? They also did not know that this was passed down from ancient times. Sacrifice at the Demon Pagoda. Boom. Boom. Layer upon layer, after a few minutes, the 10-story Devil Tower appeared from the depths of the earth. It rose up into the sky. Long Fei looked up and his heart secretly shook, so powerful, moreover. A bright light flashed in his eyes. The pagoda glowed with a black light. What was this? In the eyes of the people of Magic Tribe, this was their sacred artifact Magic Pagoda, but when Long Fei looked at the system through it, he said, "My good boy, it's unbelievable. This is a fucking super artifact." Although its attributes could not be seen, the system would not make a mistake. The existence of super artifact. Long Fei said with saliva flowing out of his mouth, "I wonder if we can blow it out. SSS Super Mission, could it be the super artifact's reward?" Ha ha ha. It's getting more and more fun. Long Fei became more and more excited, and he was completely unable to control it. The Demon Tower appeared. Magic Tribe stood up. "Please return to your position in the tower." As soon as he finished, The people of 10 tribes all kneeled down once again. Rumble. Bang 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 bang. One after another, the sky exploded and sank. A huge amount of energy flooded out from all directions and struck Long Fei's mind. Long Fei was almost unable to endure it any longer, and his mind seemed to be about to explode. Show your prowess. Long Fei forced himself to calm down. At this moment, 10 figures appeared in the sky. Whether it was white-haired, red-haired, fiery red, or ethereal celestial bones. 10 elders. Every single one of them was a kind of super powerhouse. In that instant, the 10 of them moved, transforming into 10 streaks of light and instantly charging into the 10-story Devil Tower. No one knew which floor they were on. After they entered the tower, all of the magic tribes shouted in unison towards Long Fei, Bedevilment Tower. Chapter 2484, First Level, Puppet Country. Chapter 2484, First Level, Puppet Country. Boom. His voice was deafening. The sky seemed to resonate with him. Over 10,000 magic tribes stared at Long Fei, their eyes fierce like wild beasts. He stopped abruptly. The crowd instantly quieted down, and a pin drop could be heard. Demon Suppression's voice sank, and he coldly said, "Kid, I told you, arrogance requires capital. If you dare to be arrogant in Magic Tribe, there will only be a result." He died without a complete corpse. Ha ha ha. He began to laugh maniacally. Long Fei revealed a look of astonishment as he looked at the demon-suppressing pagoda, and at this time, he also walked towards it step by step. "So you were the one who said that? Arrogant people need capital. Today, I will show you what capital is." Long Fei finally found out who the Transformers was. He had thought that they were the 4 clan of suppressed devil elders that he had killed. He hadn't expected them to be this great clan elder. "We'll see how you die in there. Let's enter the tower." Long Fei walked in front of the gigantic devil tower, and looked at the opened door. Inside the door, the darkness seemed like the gaping mouth of a prehistoric beast, devouring everything. He didn't look back. He took a big step up the stairs and stepped into the pagoda. Bam! The moment Long Fei entered the demon pagoda, the door closed. The first floor flashed with a dazzling black light. "It's starting. The 10-story Devil Tower test has begun. This kid can last for a few minutes. A few minutes. I think we won't be able to hold on for a few seconds." When Master made his move, he was instantly killed. Ha ha ha. The Demon Emperor's gaze tensed up as he stared at the first level of the Demon Pagoda. He thought to himself, the first level, Puppet Nation, is guarded by Master, Puppet Magic Tribe. "Kid, how long can you hold out?" "Who?" The Demon Emperor felt a great pressure. The feeling of never coming out. When he found out about the positions of the 10 Great Master S, he vaguely guessed what the test of the Demon Pagoda was. It was too late to remind Long Fei now. Moreover, the Demon Emperor was abnormally shocked. He had just guessed the 10-story Devil Tower's test, but Long Fei had already guessed it 3 days ago. Otherwise, he wouldn't have refined so many trash. "Kid, I didn't make a mistake, it's just..." The Demon Emperor's heart tightened. Long Fei guessed that the 10-story Devil Tower's test would not change the outcome, because it was too strong. The Master S of the 10 tribes were too strong. They were all at the pinnacle. Long Fei was only an arrogant form cultivator. How could he be a match for him? The Demon Emperor said, "Boy, you must come out alive. No matter what the price is, you must live on. Even if I am expelled, I must still take you in as my disciple." Ha ha ha. The Demon Emperor wildly laughed in his heart. He dared to do anything he wanted to do, even if it meant betraying the Magic Tribe. Beneath Magic Mountain's feet, the Princess Sand Moon said slightly, "The test of the Demon Pagoda has begun." He clasped his hands together and silently prayed. Transformers paced around anxiously. His heart started to worry as he thought to himself, "Boss, you will definitely win, you will definitely win." Kai Lina flapped his wings and immediately flew into the air to observe. In the pagoda. After Long Fei stepped into the Demon Pagoda, he was slightly shocked. "This is the world of Secret World." "That's right. Buzz." A voice rang, and the dark secret world turned into day in an instant. An old man dressed in a blood-red long robe stood not far away with a staff-like spirit artifact in his hand. The old man stared at Long Fei, his entire body releasing an extremely powerful qi, and said coldly, "First level, puppet country. Kid. This test will be a competition of puppet technique." As expected. Long Fei was secretly shocked. My guess is correct, it's all a competition of supporting skills, because no one in this world can achieve the 10th perfection. There is no such person. He had alchemy, smithing, and he could even make formations. He also knew puppet technique. It did not exist. No one would be able to cultivate so many support skills, and it would be impossible for them all to reach an extremely high realm. This was also the reason no one could pass the 10-story Devil Towers test. However, Long Fei was excited. Long Fei said, "All right, senior, please." Puppet Demon Captain said, "This is the puppet country, everything here is in my hands. Don't blame me for not reminding you that various situations might occur during your puppet refining process. Are you ready?" He was the Tower Lord. He was the ruler of this secret world. Long Fei extended out a gesture of invitation and said, "I'm ready." Puppet Demon Captain slightly said, "It's starting." With that, the Puppet Demon Captain's eyes suddenly became sharp, and at that moment, the staff in his hand quickly moved. Within a second, even shorter, a golem appeared in front of him, a golem that looked like an evil spirit. The staff moved. The evil ghost puppet pounced towards Long Fei, its speed extremely fast, like lightning. This kind of puppet technique was too fast. A cold smile appeared on the Puppet Demon Captain's face as he said, "Not many humans understand puppet technique yet, and only a brat like you dares to challenge the 10-story Devil Tower? You overestimate yourself. Kill." The evil ghost puppet turned into a blade and slashed at Long Fei. However, at this moment, boom! A silhouette descended, instantly blocking that evil ghost puppet. Puppet Demon Captain's gaze tightened as he said in astonishment, "Puppet. You can refine a puppet in such a short period of time? Impossible. Kid, cheating in front of me will result in very serious consequences." Long Fei grinned, "You can refine a puppet in a second, why can't I? Without a few, how would they dare to climb Mount Liang? Today. This 10-story Devil Tower of yours, I'm definitely going to challenge it." Long Fei's gaze tensed up, power surging from his body, as he channeled it into the puppet. Boom! A strong collision occurred. In an instant, the two puppets fell to the ground. The clash this time was considered a draw. However, in that split second, Puppet Demon Captain's technique was like a god's axe. He created another puppet in an instant, and during this time, he kept his gaze on Long Fei. He wanted to know whether Long Fei had cheated or not. Because no one had been able to create a puppet in such a short period of time. When he saw Long Fei's hand speed, he was extremely shocked in his heart and could not help but praise. "Good kid, as expected, you're extraordinary. However, kid, it's useless to rely on just your technique. More importantly, the battle power of these golems. Bring it on." With an angry shout, the puppet in his hand burst out. This time, the grade of the puppet was even higher, from the grade of the grade 8 puppet just now to the grade of an earth-ranked puppet. It was like a demon beast rushing forward crazily. Long Fei frowned, the idea moved, charge, rumble. He also charged forward. Hualala. The two puppets collided once more, and the parts on their bodies fell to the ground. Again, rumble, rumble. Again and again they collided, again and again they tied. Continuously, the Puppet Demon Captain became more and more shocked. At the same time, he lost his patience and said, "Kid, this time. A divine level puppet. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.